What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are watching Ranger Wrap Up. Peace out!
Man, give me the pick. No! Help me, no. You got it. I mean, I'm holding on to this plastic.
Ranger Nation, it is Ranger Liz, and I'm here to talk to you about the news around the grid, and we have got a decent stuff this week. Yeah, Cosmic Fury. We're going to be talking about that, of course, way more in the live show, but I'm definitely going to be covering that for you. Woo! I can't wait to see what everybody's going to be talking about, not only in chat, but later on in this. Behind-the-scenes work is already getting started. I mean, we've known it's getting started, but now it's like for reals getting started. We know that from Alpha Stunt's going to be breaking all of that down. Plus, we got comic stuff, a preview for what's to come, and it looks pretty good, but Ash is going to tell you about that. We, of course, have toy stuff that I'll throw to Josh a little bit later, but what I'm going to start off with first is that Bloodline of the Grid, Episode 2 is actually going to be coming out on July 5th. It finally has a date for it. I believe the intro for Episode 2 is already up. Episode 1, maybe they'll throw a link or something up there as well. But if you're a fan of that series, Episode 2 is coming out on July 5th. Quick bit of convention news, and that is that James McClurkin is going to be the Red Operation Overdrive Ranger, Mac, the Robot Boy. Sorry if that was spoilers for you. Anywho, he's going to be coming to Power Morphicon, and because the Black Ranger is going to be there, they're only red and silver away from a full team. Although, if they get to full team, I need Spencer. We all need Spencer. He was the glue, man. He was the glue. It was amazing. We just want to give you a little bit about that. Maybe Joe and Jezzer will have a little bit more PMC news for you later, but as of right now, still zoop, so I'm not going to talk about it on Thursday night. If you're a fan of Toku, don't forget to stick around because Heirloom's going to have the Henshin Hangout for you, and they're going to be talking about everything from there. But there is a toy that's going to be coming out. It's not Lightning Collection, Josh, so I'm going to talk about this one. Monogram International San Diego Comic-Con exclusive is revealed. It's $30. It's adorable as crap. It is, they're keychains. They're little bag clips, not keychains. They're bag clips. But you have Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Red Ranger, and the Dragon Zord. And this is, of course, in the comic stuff of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus Godzilla. It's just, I can't believe I have all of them. I just haven't read them yet. But it looks fun, and this is going to be a San Diego Comic-Con again. All it's going to run you $30, but it is limited to 500 pieces. So if you're one of those, gotta get everything Power Rangers San Diego Comic-Con. You kind of had it easy the last few years. It's still pretty easy this year. It's only $30 as long as you can get one. Again, Red Ranger and Dragon Zord, Godzilla, and King Ghidorah. But this week we had a good amount of Lightning Collection stuff for as much as we didn't, because Wave 12, we got Kira, we got some stuff coming in on the bill of lading, we got some ninja pictures. So to just cover it all, I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to our resident Lightning Collection expert. Give it up for Josh. Josh!
Hello, Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans. This is Josh Perry from the Illuminerdi, and here's everything that happened this past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. So after a couple of weeks of not that much news, we actually have some pretty newsworthy things to talk about this week, starting with Wave 12's Dino Thunder Yellow. So we already know that Wave 12, which has still not fully been announced by Hasbro, is going to have this figure alongside the already announced Wild Force Blue, Lost Galaxy Green, who has not been announced, and the also yet to be announced some version of MMPR Black. But this past week, thanks to a leaked photo from China, we have an in-hand look at Dino Thunder Yellow from the upcoming wave, which, like I said, has not been officially announced by Hasbro yet. But I think this figure looks pretty good. It also does confirm that Wave 12, at least seemingly so, is still going to be using the typical original box style of Tom Whalen artwork in plastic trays and plastic windows, because we do know that Hasbro is moving away from that stuff, and we should start seeing that take full effect in the mainline figures with Wave 13 or somewhere around that. So we at least have one more wave where everything's going to be normal. We just don't know when Hasbro is going to announce Dino Thunder Yellow or the other two figures from the wave that have yet to be seen. This past week also saw some figures actually get released, or at least in the UK they've been released so far, and that is the final wave of Ninjetti figures, or Ninja Ranger figures, whichever you want to call them, for Ninja Red, Ninja Yellow, and the Catherine version of Ninja Pink. Now, I don't know if just the Catherine version has not been delivered to people yet, or a lot of people skipped it, because we do have a lot of in-hand photos of Ninja Red and Ninja Yellow, in like full team poses and everything, but we don't have a look at Ninja Pink, the cat version, with any of these pictures just yet. Although the store in the UK, Comics and Cocktails, does have all three listed as in stock, and they do ship to the US as well, actually. So I'm pretty sure all three of them are out, but just a lot of people are getting red and yellow. And speaking of the UK, a lot of retailers have also reported that the Blue Ranger helmet is going to be arriving as soon as today, the day that you're seeing this video here on the Illuminerdi's YouTube channel. So no pictures of anybody having that in hand just yet, although that should just be right around the corner any day now. And speaking of any day now, a lot of people have been waiting for the Tyrannosaurus Sentry here in the US. And we might have an update on this if this picture from a Facebook group, which unfortunately I do not know the original source of this picture, I just know that it's some sort of Target employee, showing that the Tyrannosaurus Sentry is currently listed to be arriving July 13th at certain Target stores, or at least that's what it says in their internal system. Will that actually hold true? It's hard to say with this figure especially, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that, you know, this at that point it will have been 14 months, or no, I'm sorry, 15 months since the figure was originally announced. So hopefully it would actually show up around July 13th. It has been popping back in and up in stock for pre-order on the Target website, so keep an eye on that. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll actually finally get to see this figure released in the US. And with that, that's everything we have to talk about for this week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Of course, until next time, if you guys would like to learn more about all these different stories in more detail, you can check out the full episode of Lightning Storm available on the Tokusatsu YouTube channel right now. You can also check out my articles over at the Illuminerdi, and follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningFigPR. And this has been a little quickie, Lightning Storm.
Thank you. Okay, it is time to get to the meat and the potatoes of this news. If you're vegan, the plants and veggies, right? Right. I'm a fan of a salad. They're yummy. Anywho, we are going to talk about Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. And that we absolutely know nothing about it. But thanks to Nightmare and the Power Scoop blog, who crawls out, finds stuff, screen grabs, whatever, like legit stuff. Here you go. Didn't want to post, you know, the source. Tried to keep it, just keep it as a leak so you didn't go harass them. If you figure out who this, do not contact them. I'm just saying. Even Simon Bennett's like, guys, stop commenting on just random pictures of, you know, me and my kids, like Power Rangers. Just, seriously, y'all, stop it. Anywho, Cosmic Fury. Two things. One, we don't know what season it is. We'll probably get into a lot of that with the live chat later. We're going to be doing speculations. Of course, I want to hear in the comments, what do you guys think it's going to be? I personally ran a poll on Twitter, and 50% of the people said they want Q Ranger. For Space Force, I don't know how it's going to work. It seems like it's only going to be about 12, 15 episodes long for the amount of time they have scheduled down there. So, wow, between the 30th anniversary and the 30th season, and just, world is getting a little wacky right now. So, I hope you're hanging in. That was one, we don't know what season it is. Two, Cosmic Fury could still be the working title. Simon Bennett himself said that the working title of Power Rangers Dino Fury was actually Dino Knights. Hasbro had the final approval of all names, and it was changed to Dino Fury. So just because it's Cosmic Fury now, it gives us a really good idea of what it is. I mean, if somebody told us 4 years ago where the name of Dino Fury, like, oh yeah, it's going to be Dino Knights, you'd be like, okay, it's obviously Ryu Soja. Cosmic Force, I don't know, maybe it's dinosaurs in space. I want to see space dinosaurs. Why not? I think it would be awesome. Let me know what you think in the chat. Don't forget, you can also use Super Chat. Let us know how you feel. Help support all the creators and everything who is behind this crazy thing that we do every Saturday with y'all, and it's just a great, amazing time. Now, as far as Cosmic Fury goes, it is starting in production more. Now, of course, pre-production has been going on for a long time because they're going to be trying to film it, you know, in a few months. But the stunt actors, Alpha Stunts, woo, posted some stuff. If you were interested in following them, I think I mentioned before, they do more like behind the scenes stuff. They have the stunt team behind Power Rangers, and they posted some stuff that they're working on a morph sequence. Not just morphing sequence, it says a morphing sequence creation, so maybe that goes more into, is it going to be an original kind of everything? And it says only a month and a half to go until Power Rangers filming starts. That's right, we're only a month and a half away. I really feel like we got to be seeing something soon, maybe some cast, maybe an official name. Jesus Christ. It is really unprecedented that it is the end of June and we still don't really know anything about the next season of Power Rangers. It's, man, I need it. I'm going crazy. Now, of course, Alpha Stunts deleted that reel off of Instagram after a while, but of course, Screaming Crabs remain. Yeah, nothing on the internet's ever truly deleted. And there we go. I know we're going to dive into this more, and I'm sorry I can't be on the live chat again this week. It is now my nephew's graduation party from high school, so hopefully after this I'll be around for the next few weeks, because I really do miss seeing y'all on here. But let me know what your favorite piece of the news was in the comments, in the chat, and I'll definitely be seeing y'all next week right here on the Ranger Wrap-Up. If you want to find me on YouTube, I'm Ranger Liz. Pretty much everywhere else I'm Ranger_Liz. Thanks for checking out my part. From Soldier Day, I love you, and I think you're awesome. And I will see you at the next video. Toodles!
Welcome to the Ranger Wrap-Up. We are here live on this beautiful Saturday in Southern California. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Saturday. Jezzer, do your stick.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It is Saturday, and you know what that means. That means you're here for the Ranger Wrap-Up, the most fun and entertaining live stream on Power Ranger live stream on YouTube. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Yes, and I already see some familiar names in the chat. We got Donnie Pearsons, Robert Amaya. Who else we got in here? We got Sam Snowswell, Morphin Henshin Heroes, Alfonso Faunis, Toku Kid, Thea Games 10. Thank you guys all. Jalen Glover, thank you guys all so much for joining us.
I haven't seen that name in a long time.
Saturday. That's right. Let us know where you're streaming from to talk Power Rangers. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Also, thank Liz, Ranger Liz, for that beautiful, beautiful intro and delivering us that news every single week, along with Josh Perry, our resident expert here on the Lightning Collection. Jezzer, I know you're a Lightning Collection fan. We got to dive into this real quick. Are you picking up that Kira?
I have to,
from Power
right?
Rangers Dino Thunder?
I have to complete that Dino Thunder team, right? So, like, after Kira, it's only, we got to get a freaking Dr. Oliver one, right? Like, I think it's time.
Yeah, I would agree with you. We definitely need a Dr. Oliver.
New haircut, too, the buzz cut. I'm pretty excited about that one. You know, it's
our first shorter hair Tommy?
Exactly.
Come on.
I mean, look, Hasbro must be super excited to finally be able to make another Tommy head, and this time they get to add different hair on it. I think it's great. It's great.
Listen, look, Dashing Quinn is in here. Can't wait for the discussion. Watching from Montana,
Nice.
God's country. Montana's beautiful, if you will. Honestly, Montana's one of the most beautiful states in our beautiful nation.
Nice.
But man, that Kira figure, I agree with you. I might not like the head sculpt, but I love Kira as a character, and I'm with you, man. I got to complete this team. And dude, you're right. Hasbro has to be itching at the bits to get a short-haired version of Tommy out, and then all of the little iterations of Tommy that go with that. I'm talking the Forever Red Tommy, you know what I mean, where he comes back with his Zeo suit and his spiky hair.
Yeah.
Then we're talking, what else is there? There's a Legendary Battle Tommy, where he's in his Green Ranger suit and his spiky hair, when the morpher was the wrong color, and they had to auto-correct that or whatever, or color-correct that. And then we got Dimensions in Danger Tommy with his Master Morpher, which I think would be pretty cool. So, look, I think that
what was his hair in Dimensions in Danger?
It was like a normal haircut that kind of like he has now.
Okay, all right.
For
some reason, it's like escaping me.
Do you think that we also get the evil version of Tommy, where it was like the Black Dino Thunder Ranger where he had the, you know, like
maybe
the minion suits. I don't know, but we can. I think we'll get Tommies for a good while longer. We also got the White Stranger. Remember when they went for the Wild West?
Yeah, you know,
Another Tommy that we can be looking at. But yeah, release the Black Book is something we got going on here.
hey
It's a
man, I feel
trend.
like
Thank you, Thomas Costa.
I may be wrong on this. The Black Book, is there a lot of stuff in there that's kind of obsolete now or kind of different than what
Are you talking Power Rangers or are you talking for everything?
Power Rangers?
No. So the thing with Power Rangers, I feel that it's always changing, and I feel like things have been in flux for a while. And I think, in all honesty, the weirdest thing happened, and I think a lot of fans already know this, that when we ran that story about David Yost coming back,
Was that in the
and then
book?
we ran-
It was not in the book.
yeah. It is in the book. That's in the book along with other people that had agreed to come back. I don't even know if that's happening anymore. But that happened at the same time we released the Yin stuff from the 30th anniversary stuff.
Yeah.
And then, ironically, just the way the universe works, something in the universe sometimes tells me, or at least it feels like it's telling me, that the Power Ranger reunion is just not meant to be, simply because that ASJ stuff came out literally within days of us releasing that.
Hey, you never
So-
know. You never know. He pleaded not guilty. There's some people that are super guilty that are still walking the streets, you know?
Right now, currently, I'm not here to throw shade at Austin St. John. I don't know the ins and outs of this case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not a lawyer. I haven't heard his side of this story.
Look.
So
If we still got Ezra Miller walking around doing his thing
Oh
after
my
all
God,
that
Jezzer.
stuff that's going on, I mean,
You literally, I know that you're remotely streaming today, but literally the first conversation. So here in our studio, Josh, Shay, Daniel, Kevin, myself, Caitlin, we're all here today. And that was one of the things we brought up was this Ezra Miller thing, because I know this is a Power Ranger show, but real question is, how are they going to release this Flashpoint movie now?
dude,
Because-
I have no idea. I mean, you have to release it, right? I'm assuming it's already
Dude,
done. Like, I feel like it's already done.
$150 million down the drain. You have to release it.
have
But
to.
here's the thing. In terms of like the PR, the press tour that they have to go on, and this is Michael Keaton's big return to DC, I feel like now all of that is become secondary to this Ezra Miller situation.
I guess you
And-
lean into Supergirl. You start. This is what you do. You start having her like do the Sochi Gomez. What's her name from America?
Oh yeah.
Have her do what Sochi's doing, and just like start doing good press stuff all over the world and all over, and just like start building up until it's time for the press release, and then you have her be the lead and take control of this. Because I mean, Supergirl is going to be a huge character in this, so maybe have her be the holding the flag and just getting people ready for the film. I think that's the way to go. I think it's start letting other people kind of build up a lot of good PR and then have them run it, and then just kind of like leave them in the dust and then explain it later in another film.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, my plan for this always going forward was to always, like, at the end of the movie, there should be a new Wally West, and it should be Grant Gustin. It feels like a graduation from the television show. They're roughly about the same age. He already has his own fan base. I feel like Grant Gustin would be the perfect person to take over for the Flash.
This is a conversation always with Power Rangers and other like TV and movie versus like, can people jump from one to another? I listened a lot to Michael Rosenbaum's thing, and he always like he sounds a little bit salty when they cast
a Lex, a different Lex.
a different Lex than he was. Is there really it's like two different worlds, right? Like that's why we can't
Look, the way I will say that I think you and I are in the same place with this is I don't think there's been a better Lex than Michael Rosenbaum.
There has not been a better Lex.
Especially live action. Nobody can tell me there's been a better Lex Luthor than Michael Rosenbaum. He made you care about the character. His intentions, you saw what they were and they made sense to him. I think the character was really well fleshed out brilliantly on that show. But the thing is, and I agree with you here, is that if there is a different iteration of a Jason, are fans as receptive? You know what I mean? And I agree with you. I feel like there's a bit of a split there. There's certain fans that want the Austin St. John Jason because that's what we grew up with and that's tradition. I feel like those are mostly, and for a lot of times we can call them Power Rangers loyalists or Power Rangers purists.
Yeah.
And then there's fans that are okay with taking the chances of recasting the role for, like a Dacre Montgomery or maybe even someone new. Already we got a super chat feature. Thank you so much, Thomas DeCoste. He says Jinsaku said He's heard a separate anthology series is in the works for the 30th anniversary, but doesn't think it'll happen. Have you heard this? Great question, Thomas. I have not heard this. Believe it or not, we're talking with Jin, and we're thinking about getting him on the show next week. So maybe we can ask Jin himself, and we can do like a whole like, hey, here's what we know leading into the 30th anniversary discussion next week. But that'll be a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Thomas DeCoste. Now, for a lot of you guys that don't know what the super chat feature is, Thomas just used it. It helps support the show. It helps support our cast. Jezzer, myself, Liz, Mark, Josh, Fan Club, Ash, all of us. It helps all of us support the show. So thank you guys so much. But let's talk about this for a second, because I like the idea of talking about the 30th anniversary. I feel it's on the tip of everybody's tongue. We're right around the corner of it from a perspective of Hasbro. Here's the thing. We know that a lot of the merchandising for the 30th anniversary is going to be very much, or I should say, the merchandising for next year is going to be very much geared towards the 30th anniversary. But the question is, do you think that it's going to be that way brand wide? I mean, something else we're going to talk about very soon is going to be the comics. And we're seeing that we're starting to get a little bit more influence of, I mean, for the last year or so, we've even had the Omega Rangers sent out to space.
Yeah.
And now we're getting a comic specifically focused on Andros' team, which is something a lot of fans have been wanting for a very long time. To really kind of,
and not just Andros, a lot of the space stories like Ecliptor and Astronema, which I guess from their point of view they find is doing successful, right? So I think that it's a good move. I definitely think it's a good move for them to go towards that. But I don't necessarily think that on the toy side and merchandise side, at least outside of Hasbro, it's going to be that way. I think outside of Hasbro, like the other people that have license to release Power Ranger merchandise, it's still going to be MMPR related.
Are you talking like Super 7?
Super 7, all these other like clothing companies or merchandise companies, it's all going to still be MMPR, only because, as I've said many times before, it all comes down to brand recognition. Until Power Rangers is at a point where they can change the association with Power Rangers and a different team, it's still going to be MMPR, because that's the very first, that's the most iconic, and a lot of people aren't going to like to hear it. It's the thing that's going to be recognized outside of the fandom.
You're not wrong there, and if any indication for G.I. Joe is telling us that that's exactly the same model. I mean, if you're looking at the G.I. Joe franchise, a lot of the figures they're releasing, which are selling extremely well, and they're doing a lot of these Hasbro Pulse things, are the classic G.I. Joe characters, figures, and designs that we got in the 80s. Now, the franchise for G.I. Joe has been rebooted a ton of times with different iterations of comics, animation, films, whatever it may be, but they have not been able to capture the imagination like the original G.I. Joe has, which obviously they're benefiting and reaping the benefits on currently. And I agree with you. I think Power Rangers is very much the same thing. But I will say this, in terms of the storytelling in Power Rangers, one of the stronger things that we've always gotten is when the story has been going to space. And I like that we're doing that in the comics now, exploring Andros and his team. And let's be honest about it. Space is at least in everybody's top 5 seasons of all time, if not top 3. It's one of the best seasons of Power Rangers. So to only go back and kind of like, start hitting that well up for some water is the perfect opportunity, because we all love the space aspect of it. But to talk more about that, we have Deoxy speaking about it, the Power Rangers comics.
So next week is the release of Power Rangers Unlimited Countdown to Ruin. And if you don't know what that comic is, it's basically telling the backstory of Andros and Zane, how they trained and became Rangers, and what led to that fateful day where Zane got injured. And they've been kind of building towards this one issue in the comics with Andros, where Andros is going down a weird and dark path where, I don't want to spoil it, but he might be the host of a certain bad guy or a certain ranger with something he found. But we've got some preview pages thanks to Boom Studios and the Ranger Command podcast/website, where we can see the original In-Space Rangers. Now, only 2 of them take off their helmets in these preview pages, but if we get a full team reveal for these characters, I will definitely make a video talking about their names and stuff like that if they all get revealed. So, let's look at these preview pages because they're pretty gnarly. And the covers are pretty gnarly as well. So, here's the main one. That's the main one. We've got... This is the one that was revealed where it's Andros holding Zane. You got Dark Condor in the background. You see the ruins of KO-35. This is a really great cover. Oh, there's the team. And here's another one of Andros Battle Damaged, which looks really cool. I love seeing Rangers with cracked helmets or cracked visors. And seeing this one where it's cracked and there's a bit of blood is really badass. So let me jump here. And here's the preview page. So here's what I believe the comic probably opens on KO-35, where you see like the body of Zane just lying over a bunch of girders. It's like he had a fatality in Mortal Kombat right here. That's going to be an interesting story to tell the series. Really brutal. I mean, I do wonder if he gets impaled on this, because it almost looks like he gets fully impaled, but I don't know if they didn't want to go through with it, so he's sort of just lying on a bunch of girders, like, injured. So, here's the main thing that the video is about, the original in-space team that we see in this video. We see a yellow ranger, a blue ranger, a red ranger, a pink ranger, a black ranger. No silver ranger. I don't know why. I wonder if they'll explain the origins of the Silver Ranger powers in this episode, because in space, I believe Zane was the 6th Ranger because, you know, silver. But in the Sentai, the Silver Rangers were the prototype powers of the Mega Rangers, I believe. I could be wrong, it's been a while since I've watched Mega Ranger. Good Sentai, go watch it. It's on Tubi, it's on Shout Factory's website. Go check out Mega Ranger, it's a really good watch through. So, we've got these Rangers, and then we see 2 of them. One of them is called Daza, I believe it's pronounced, and they look like a healer because they're using magical powers, so this character could be from an alien race, we don't know. And then we've got our Blue Ranger, called Mavi. So, we've got a very interesting cast of characters here right now. And seeing how these 2 are talking to each other, where she refers to her as my Daza is here. My Daza is a healer, so I don't know if that's referring to her as lovers, as friends, as teammates. It's hard to say, but seeing how these 2 are positioned with the hand on the shoulder and how they're looking at each other, they could be lovers. That's my speculation and guess. But we see the original Blue Ranger, and we see the original Pink Ranger for In Space. So, I do wonder if the entire team is going to get revealed, because this story is meant to be Andros training to become the Red In Space Ranger. So, I do wonder if we'll meet the other Rangers and see how they fought in battle, because I made a theory long ago where I talked about what happened to the original team, and my guess is they were killed off screen, or something bad would have happened to them. Why Andros was very closed off from the other Rangers when they joined up. So I'm guessing we're going to see these characters get killed off in this comic, which is probably going to be brutal and gruesome and very sad. But either way, I'm glad we're finally meeting the original In-Space Rangers, because a lot of people have always wondered, who was Andros' original team? What are they about? What did they do? What happened to them? And now we might get the answers in this comic when it drops next week. So, what do you think of these characters, and what are your speculations on what Andros' teammates might be? I mean, we might have someone who's from Kruger's race. We might have someone who's from Tripp's race. We could meet all kinds of different alien species in the Power Rangers universe that are either alien or human or some kind of weird space creature. So I do wonder what this team is going to be like, and I can't wait to meet them, because this is going to be an interesting character development moment for Andros in this comic. So, what do you guys think of this team? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. With that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't forget to turn on notifications. Special thanks to all the members such as Swagger4 and Andrew McCoyle. If you want to get your name shouted out like these guys over here, join the Patreon or become a YouTube supporter for special perks and stuff like that on the channel. With that said, I'll catch you later, and stick around for next week as...
Thank you so much, Ash. Brilliant job. Look, me and Jezzer were going through this ourselves and coming up with our own theories. I'm already excited to explore the Space Rangers more, some more of these KO-35 Rangers, if you will. However, there was a chat in here that I saw by our good buddy Heirloom, who's going to be on the show a little bit later on. Not sold on the artwork.
Let me
What do you?
let me look up for sure who it is, but I think the story and artwork, it's all being helmed by the one that did the what is it, the
Beyond the Grid?
Solar Rangers, I think.
Yeah, the Beyond the Grid story. Look here, ideally, as we were going through some of this artwork and some of the preview stuff, it seems as if, or at least for me, it seems as if Andros is kind of meeting these Rangers for the first time. We're guessing, me and Jez were kind of speculating, well, what if Andros isn't the leader on his team when this disastrous thing happens? And that's why Andros isn't the greatest leader when we see him in Power Rangers in Space.
Because we talk about TJ being the leader of the team majority of the time when we're talking about space. Like, the leadership role, it's not, I feel like after Turbo, it wasn't always associated with Red, right? So, like, it all really determines on who steps up. And I think that Andros' hesitance to bring the team in and have them help and still learning, I think that's what made it that he wasn't a full-on leader of that team.
Yeah, you could also check out more on this on our website. Bryce West wrote an article about it. And look, him and I talk about this all the time. Bryce is our Power Rangers web editor. He's under the impression that if you're the Red Ranger, for the majority, you're the leader, right? And I disagree. I don't subscribe to that. And I know that there's some, I don't know if I want to call them Power Ranger purist out there, because I don't know if that's the right thing, but there's definitely a lot of people in the fan base. And look, I'd love for you guys to chime in the chat and let us know. I don't think just being a Red Ranger makes you the leader. And there's a handful of examples that we can go back to. You had mentioned TJ being one of them, but we also got to put Jen Scott's in there from Time Force Pink. She was also the leader of her team. Obviously, we know Tommy when he became the White Rangers leader, but we're not really going to count that. Taylor was definitely the leader. She was definitely the leader of her team.
Mystic Force. Who is it in Mystic Force? I feel like it was more so. I feel like Udana, their White Ranger. She wasn't in the field as much, and I kind of equate that back to like Dino Thunder too. Like Tommy was clearly the leader. Dino Charge a little bit with Purple.
I agree.
It's not full on. It's definitely not full on.
Not a direct one-to-one. I do like that. I agree with you on that. Speaking of purist a little bit here, I know that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're a little bit more into the Super Sentai than I am. In the Super Sentais, is the Red Ranger always the leader?
Look at this. Do you recognize this?
I know. I love that. Yeah, I do, buddy.
You know, we're getting into some cosmic fury. That's just wishful thinking out there, you know.
Let's talk about this, though, for a second, because in Super Sentai, is it always the Red that's the leader?
Let me see. I want to say for the most part, there are some differences. Maybe during the discussion we can ask Heirloom. I think for the most part, the Red is always the like aloof one, like the person that's kind of like figuring themselves out still, and at the cost of the team building of the rest of the team. So I think. Yeah, I mean, kind of like a reluctant leader most of the time, you know? But yeah.
Well, before we move on, Jezzer, what's the chat saying?
The chat is saying, we have yet to see Blitz, Changeman, and Battalion Dynaman. I think they're talking about the Super Sentai stuff that they used in Super Megaforce. Yeah.
Yep, that's from Robert Amaya.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. That is true. Toku Kid says, wait, with the context of Turbo in space, did this team not have a Megazord? Because they didn't have the shuttle till way later. So the thing, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, that's a great question, Toku.
Yeah, the thing is, I think that they did have a Megazord. It might have had a different head, because the box that Alpha was carrying from
Jinsaku's here, buddy. I owe you a message, by the way. I owe Jinsaku a message, buddy. Yeah. I'll text you, or I'll DM you right when we're done. Yeah. Hoping to get you on next week, my friend.
So there was the box that Alpha 6 was holding when they were going into space, and I think it was like a converter, so like a converter to match up the Astromegazord ship with the shuttle that it was a experimental shuttle that they had. So I think that it did probably have a head before, but it was a different head. So I don't know. Time will tell. We'll have to see in the comics what
Time will tell. These kind of discussions are exactly what I love having at events like Power Morphicon with a lot of you guys, because I feel like just with Toku Kid coming in there and being and knowing that, like, well, they didn't have that shuttle until like space or later on down the line, it makes total sense. And that's what we're doing here, is making sure that the Power Rangers and Boom Studios keeps Power Rangers
and making
honest.
sense. I want Boom Studios to explain what was going on with the Super Mega Force War, and like, because you're going through all the teams. Like, wait, how could that team be there and that team be there? Because that person was two Power Rangers. Like,
I have my own headcanon for a lot of this stuff. So my guess, and I'm assuming you're referring to the Turbo team
and Zeo. Yeah.
So my headcanon is a little bit like this. So we do know in Power Rangers Turbo that there were the robot rangers that were sent to Eltar to help Zordon or for whatever mission.
Okay.
My guess, and I think it would have been kind of cool if they would have come back like half cyborgy looking, like all messed up. But my guess is that those were the the robot Turbo Rangers with a real Justin that was there representing Turbo. That would be my headcanon.
They did try to make it make sense, right? By like omitting some 6 Rangers so they can make it make sense. So props to them, who was in Chiplin. Props to Chiplin at the time for trying to make that make sense. And maybe there's a few reshoots there so that they could actually have it fit into the continuity that Power Rangers has that Super Sentai didn't have.
And this is why I love Ranger Nation, is because that literally, that's a great example. So I was talking to JDF about this. If you guys remember the promo shots, they originally had his Morpher being silver.
The real JDF,
and he
or
was
our
like,
JDF?
The real JDF. Okay. He was like, the Morpher originally was silver. They had to go in and color correct it to make it gold. It was those simple little touches like that I think that keep the power, that Ranger Nation keeps Power Rangers, the franchise, honest. And I like that a lot. Speaking, I know we were talking about Red Rangers earlier, and we were talking about the Super Sentai. I know that, have you started Dawn Brothers yet?
I am watching a few. I'm like skimming through a few episodes for some clips for Heirloom's Henshin thing. It looks fun. I'm still trying to understand it. I have to start it from the beginning to understand it. And what's great about Super Sentai is, like, if you don't watch one season, you can watch another season because they're not fully connected, right? So that's fun. That's the fun idea I like. But yeah, I'm trying to start
Super Sentai. I honestly think head and aboves. I love the villains in Super Sentai.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, I know that we look at Power Rangers and it's cheesy monsters in rubber suits, and I don't mean that as a disrespect, but in Super Sentai, they create this world where it just makes sense, and I love it. So it's like a real life anime. Big fan of it. But to talk more about it, Heirloom, let's go to you.
Heirloom.
Welcome to the Henshin Hangout. My name is Mark. I'm going to be your host for this segment. We're going to be talking about brand new stuff that's coming out in the world of Super Sentai with the toys, as well as my review of the episode of Dawn Brothers, episode 16. So let's jump straight into it. Quite recently, we had the Tokyo Toy Show in 2022, where they revealed quite a lot of really cool things when it came to Dawn Brothers. And I've got to admit, I love the displays that they had on this. This showed quite a lot of brand new kind of product that we've got coming out, and I really, really enjoyed it. But some of the main things that I have seen, which was posted all around the internet, such as like on Ranger Board, as well as a few other places. And what you're seeing on screen now is basically new gears that we're going to be getting, where we're going to be seeing the avatar forms, and I'm kind of excited, mainly because we have Gokaija, Lupin Ranger, and Pata Ranger in there, which I really kind of want to see, as well as Zenkaija. So I'm very much looking forward to this. We've got some other stuff from Dino Charge. Again, I'm just going to use the English names. We have some of the previous Sentais as well. It's coming out as brand new gears. I'm kind of looking forward to them, but the main ones that I'm going to be collecting, Gokaija as well as Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger, because I really like that. I'm also going to pick up the Zenkaija one as well, so I'm very much excited for this. In Figure Arts news, we've had the reveal of 2 Kaiser, which generally we all knew is coming, which means that Stay Caesar will be coming very shortly as well, and maybe the entire team. But I have to say, the 2 Kaiser fig arts looks absolutely stunning. If you're a fan of Gokaiger, or even if you're just kind of tuning in to watch 2 Kaiser, highly recommend picking up this fig arts when it drops. I really want it. I picked up Zenkaiger myself. I really liked it, and now I want 2 Kaiser. Seeing this, it looks so cool, and I love the fact that fig arts are coming back in a big way. So I'm very excited. I can't wait. So just can't wait. And that's it pretty much for all the merch news that's come out. I'm just really excited. The fig arts, new gears, we know more is going to come all the way through. So I'm looking forward to pretty much seeing everything. And I'm hoping that with the Avatar figures, we're going to get every single one. Because Gokaiger, Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger, Zenkaiger, I kind of want it all. But with that, we're now moving into my review of episode 16 of Dawn Brothers. And do you know what? I kind of like this episode. This episode, for the very first part, was a bit kind of like, oh, do I have to watch this? Do I have to kind of like, when do we get to see the good stuff? I generally knew what was going to happen in this episode when we come in, and seeing Kinjo apologize to everybody there, saying he didn't want to transform, he was sorry, he didn't see it coming, etc., etc. And I kind of thought, you know what, I believe him. Like, no one wants to turn against Jezzer and team and just absolutely try to destroy them, because that's not good whatsoever. So with this, Kanju is kind of apologizing. Momomatani comes running in and he apologizes. He's not a morning person. So I kind of thought, I generally thought that you would be here pretty much all time, like, you know, you'd be there crack of dawn, that you're used to it. But obviously he's like, I'm not going to get up for anyone. The entire episode now is basically most people aren't happy with Momomatani. They don't trust him. You know, something that came up when Haruzuka as well as Shinchi turned around and was just like, hey, you know, it's something that he brought up, like he wants to execute us all, and thus therefore, you know, our powers would be passed on, etc., etc. And I think that this is mentioned much later on in the episode again, when basically Kaito is Zenkai Black, pretty much turns around to the guys and says, that's not how it works. Either you wish or you die. I think that's the only way out. So you can't pass on powers, etc., etc. I felt like this was okay. I felt like this was a kind of a decent way of talking about it. But the way that basically everyone's not really happy with Momomatani, where he could basically just, he wants to execute them all. He wants to defeat them all. You know, maybe due to something, I don't know. Maybe it's part of the actual story of Dawn Brothers, or basically of Goku, as well as like the Peach Boy and stuff like that. So all the way kind of through this, Momomatani decides that he wants to help out the team. He goes to their jobs, he goes to speaking to them all and kind of helping them out, but he overdoes this, and it kind of really gets them, and they're all like, look, we just don't want you in here. We don't want you a part of this team. You're annoying the crap out of us. Why the hell are you doing this? With Don Momotaro, basically Momomatani is copying everything that he does. He's trying to help out. He's trying to get everything. And I love the fact that about halfway through, or near the end of the day with Don Momotaro, he's just like, why are you copying me? And it's just basically Momotaro. He's like, well, I kind of really look up to you, and I kind of really want to be there, and I want to learn from the best. And it's just like, stop it. So like, there's a lot of dry humor in this that I see. I think the biggest thing in this that made me laugh more than anything is when Momomatari is kind of talking to Haruka, and you know, he's like, oh, I've just drawn a manga, and then she looks at it like, you know, okay, I'm looking over this, you've done your own work, etc., etc. He says, feel free to plagiarize all of this, and she just throws it in the air, and I'm just like, oh god, that was funny. That was actually a very funny moment. But seeing her go, no, what the hell, I kind of loved the fact that she was just like, she didn't just kind of like sulk away. She was just like, I just don't care about this anymore. The other one is Kinijo. He turns around and he's giving his kind of presentation. He's like, hey, guess what? I'm doing this. You know, this is the great investment for your company. And the guy's like, okay, you know, I'm liking this. Let's get this deal on the go. Well, then Momomatari just jumps straight in. He's just like, this is the best thing ever. And then puts down, I think, like 100 yen or 10 yen or something like that. Which then makes Kinjo go, no, how dare you do this? You've made this entire project look like it's not even worth that. It's worth like 10 or 100 yen. Thus, therefore, costing our company this big contract. And I was like, I couldn't see it. I was like, oh, maybe it would be I'm putting money into this and that's way for it. But I can also see it from a business standpoint where it's like, oh, you only think that this building or this plan is only worth X amount, which is the worst thing. And every single member of the team doesn't like this whatsoever. Now, at the very beginning of this, Momogatari has given everyone a kind of like, hey, let's have a party. I'm joining the team. Come join me. This is all the main thing that we want. But the one thing that happens the most is that no one turns up. And Don Momotaro's there. He's eating food and he's like saying, yeah, no problem. Like, we can be friends type thing. And this is when Momotaro says like, oh, but I want to be the leader. I want to be this. And, what does that make you? You are the hero. You're the good person. What does that make me? And Momotaro just goes, you're a companion. Which then, for some strange reason, triggers Momotaro to go into this whole thing of, I'm going to annihilate the team for no reason. Which I'm guessing is part of the story from these like Japanese myths, etc., etc. But I love the fact that you hear all the way through this entire story of the Peach Boy or maybe of Goku and stuff like that. And I love the fact that he's being really like menacing, and it feels like this kind of pays off in anything. You could turn around and say certain elements of a story and have this footage, and I think it would work well. Now, one of the most interesting parts of all this is that Momotaro is able to steal the powers from everyone. Literally they can fight and he just takes the sunglasses and the powers are gone. He gains them, and this is absolutely amazing because it just shows that he's able to wipe everyone off straight away. He takes people down one by one, but he has the ability to turn into them, which was fascinating to me because it showed that when he was fighting Don Momotaro, it was straight away transformed into this character. And Don Momotaro found it hard to actually defeat him or even attack because it reminded him of all his companions. And do you know what? I found this fascinating all the way through because now it shows that he could, Momotaro could solo the entire team straight away. With all of this, Haruka jumps in, she slaps Momotaro and sends him back to normal, and he's like, what the hell's happened? I didn't know this. The monster of the day, you kind of really, for me personally, you don't really see. He's based off Zyuranger, and I kind of liked it. Oh, I didn't notice this, is when you notice the monsters transforming, I thought it's like, oh, you have to kind of guess. But no, when the graphics go around, apparently from what I saw of the Zyuranger one, is you see the symbol of the actual monster. And I like that. I didn't notice that whatsoever. So seeing these two little things, this one little thing picked up, and I was like, I really find this really cool. So the monster of the day, basically, he is he's been playing video games and everybody hates him and thinks he's bad, and that's particularly it. But with Momotaro at the very end, just absolutely wipes the floor with him. We see Momotaro turn into his alter form, which is the dragon that's there causing damage. He does the same thing as I thought he would do, is as soon as he puts it in, he's like, oh, falls down. And again, it's kind of comical all the way through. Everyone kind of forgives him at the very end because he doesn't know what's going on. And I'm like, do you know what? I get that, but I feel like this could be a thing all the way through of like they don't trust him whatsoever. At the very end, Momotaro kind of gives praise. He apologizes and says, look, I'm really sorry about all of these things. And, you've got Momotaro kind of apologizing as well for what he's done, and etc., etc. And that was it. That was kind of all of what was going on. It was a fantastic episode that made me want more. And I think another really funny part, I think the one thing that stood out to me the most, is when you've got Don Brothers Black, where he's basically in his dog form. And because obviously Momotari's going through saying, hey, I can help you, I want to help you out, he brings him food, which Don Brothers Black just goes, whoa, starts eating like a dog. He's like, damn it, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't give in to my instincts. It's just caught me off guard. And as soon as he's finished eating his food, Momotaro goes, paw. And then he gives him his paw. He's like, God damn it, it's just instinct. I freaking love this. I just feel like Don Brothers is a completely different Sentai. It's not something that we've had before, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I feel like this is fantastic. The toys, the merchandise, everything is on point for this series, and I feel like it's fantastic. And it makes me want to kind of watch more. It makes me want to watch the next episode to see what happens. We've got Dragon Ranger coming in this one, MMPR Green. So not obviously Tommy, but obviously we have Dragon Ranger coming in. So I'm really looking forward to this. But for that, I'm going to leave it there. This episode was solid. I absolutely loved it. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think about this episode if you've seen it in chat or down below in the comments. With that, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next week.
Heirloom.
Fantastic job, Heirloom. Man, every single time this dude talks about Dawn Brothers, it makes me immediately show. So I have to thank Heirloom so much for giving us that bit of information on Dawn Brothers. Also, I probably shouldn't say this on air, but finding Dawn Brothers for me to watch in a very creative way. So thank you so much, Heirloom. Let me ask you, Jezzer, with Dawn Brothers, I know that you said that it's something that that you have to kind of wrap your head around and start from the beginning. Are you going to start from the beginning with Dawn Brothers and just kind of follow it all the way through?
I'm gonna just kind of, because it's 16 episodes in. I feel like it's not too much. It's not gonna take me too long to get through, because I did Stranger Things in a day and I did The Boys in a day.
Where do you get the time to do all this television watching, man?
Sometimes I'm doing it at work. So if my work,
I hope your job is definitely not watching the Ranger wrap up.
I think they are definitely not. It's cool. We're fine. It's just, it's just the thing. But yeah.
That's incredible that you have that much free time to watch that much. I'm always wondered. You're like, oh, have you seen this show? It's like, bro, I haven't even seen. I'm not even done with Moon Knight.
Oh,
yet, you know
really?
What I mean? Like,
dang,
dude, I haven't started Miss Marvel. I don't watch The Boys. I'm like an episode and a half behind. But it's hard to keep up. It's just so hard to consume so much of this content. And also, Jezzer, you don't have a goddamn kid that eats up every minute of your
baby. Mia's
now,
not
Mia's
a baby.
7, and
like,
we're going through we are going through our Star Wars watch along. And dude, you were asking about this earlier. Monday, Bloody
really?
Monday. We get to Revenge of the Sith, my friend.
God, you gotta record it.
So look, I have a specific way we're watching it, and I'm gonna test it on everybody today. But I'm really excited about this.
Dude, she might cry. She might.
No shit.
Feel so She will feel so betrayed. Oh,
I know. She loves her some Anakin too. She loves Anakin. God. She loves Ahsoka. She loves the clones. Captain Rex is her favorite. So it's about to go downtown, my friend. It is about to go down. Jezzer, what are they saying in the chat, buddy?
They're saying, let's see. We have the Blur says, same here. I'm trying to finish the Flash and Superman. I gave up on the Flash. It's just so hard to get back into it. I'm kind of new to the stream, but is this stream going to be deleted? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. It will.
No. Matter of fact, later on today, you'll be able to get the chapter breaks on what we talked about. And then on Monday, for our Morphin Monday, you'll be able to get these individual segments individually. But I was talking about, you were talking about Superman and Lois for a second. By the way, that might be my favorite CW superhero show. So much fun.
Right now is a little wonky, but it's fun.
But you know what? Straight up, great family show.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, to me, that's Superman, right? A character that you can watch in front of the whole family. I saw this great meme earlier on Twitter that was like, it was like different reactions to Superman killing Zod. It was the Henry Cavill like crying reaction, and you swiped it. It was Christopher Reeve like smiling, because remember how he like kind of throws him off into the Phantom Zone, and he's like, oh well, it's so funny. But like that Superman and Lois show, I love Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. I think he's great. So. And I love Lois Lane in that show too.
It's great.
Fantastic job there.
Even Lana. I love that they brought Lana, and I love it that it's
it's E's girl.
It's Sloane. I love that.
Sloane from Entourage.
I love that. But
all right, we got the Blur. He did give us a super chat. He says you should do a wrap up with her and the group. With who in the group? Who
are you talking about? Who's her?
What are we talking about, buddy? Let us know, Blur, who you'd like in the discussion or in the wrap up. But Leo, so let me ask you this. Again, I love talking to fans about Power Rangers, and I know that we have, by the way, you guys are in for a treat later for this discussion, because we got Eric Berry from Ranger Command Power Hour, the Power Ranger podcast.
Yeah, he sounds so much like Nick Cage. It's crazy.
We got Toku Chris coming on, and Toku Chris is laying it down with a lot of news, but this one's going to be a straight-up fan discussion because we're really excited to talk about it. We also got the fan club joining us this week, and Heirloom, so we have a lot to discuss with, I know we haven't touched on it a lot, but Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. But listen, we love hearing your guys' fan theories too, and one of the things I love the most about hearing these fan theories is at Power Morphicon, because there's nothing like being at a bar completely inebriated and then talking Power Rangers with like-minded fans. I'll tell you right now,
man. That's how I got wrapped up in your little spider web.
Wait, is that really how we met?
Oh, I think the first time we met was 2015. I think I met our JDF first, and he's like, "Oh, this is Joe, and you guys are doing interviews," and I was watching, I think it was Deborah's booth at LA Comic-Con, and then...
Is that the picture that you randomly are in with me in that when I was wearing the Dino Charge blue shirt?
I think that was one of the first times. We had been kind of like mutuals on Facebook for a while, and you had me over, DJ had me over at some parties, but yeah, it was through drinking, it's
through drinking and our love of Power Ranger fandom. Well, look. Coming up in August, we hope that you guys are going to be able to enjoy your fandom live with other fans for the first time since this pandemic started at Power Morphicon. Here's a little fun fact about Power Morphicon. Now, we are going to be helping directly with some of the panels out there. We're going to be having some pretty dynamic panels. And I'd like to say this. For anybody that was a part of the Viewing Globe and our founders of the Viewing Globe, myself, Eric Berry, Toku Chris, and Heirloom, and we put Ranger Liz in there too. We had created something that Power Ranger fans, we thought, really wanted to see, and stuff that you hadn't seen before. You can expect that this year at Power Morphicon, because the way that we're going to be designing some of these panels are going to be panels that you haven't seen before. But the moderators for these panels are going to be Power Rangers influencers. And that's what I'm saying. Hopefully Eric changes his mind. We get him out here to PMC. I'm just saying.
We could put him on the screen, have him do kind of...
We can put him on virtually. Do you think Eric would want to do a virtual panel? Hey, that's not a bad idea, Jezzer. We'll have to ask him later. But I think that's a way to go, too. But we're not just stopping with helping with the panels. We are also going to be doing 2 after parties there. One Friday night and one Saturday night. More details to come. But I told you guys before, a couple years ago, we are never doing another Angel Grove prom. And that is, we're sticking true with that. Both of these new after parties are going to be 2 completely different themes, but as Power Ranger fans, we think you guys are going to love them.
Fire and Fest. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Oh boy. But we do have one announcement we can make for Power Morphicon right now. So we know that a lot of guests have been coming out of Power Morphicon, and we can announce 2 of them right now. Jezzer, hit it.
Right there. Hunter and Chance.
Hunter Dano and Chance Perez will be attending Power Morphicon this year. The Dino Fury, 2 members of the Dino Fury cast, you will be able to meet them live in August 26th to the 28th at the Pasadena Convention Center, one of my favorite venues, by the way. You get a chance to meet a couple of the Dino Fury Rangers, and I'm sure we're going to have them in some Q&A, some panels. So come on down to Power Morphicon. You check out powermorphicon.com, where you can get tickets now for that immersive experience. But more information will be coming every week right here at the Illuminerdi. So we all hope that you attend Power Morphicon, and I'm sure that as these weeks come, we'll be giving out tickets, we'll have discount codes, a lot of things for you guys to be looking forward to.
We did get a super chat from the Blur. He says, seems like there is an Overdrive reunion at PMC. It does seem like that. It seems like that. What other Power Ranger team do you want to see reunite at
I'm going to tell you, so let me stop you right here. I had the biggest crush on Caitlin Murphy from Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. And I got to interview her the last Morphicon. She was a big crush of mine. So it'll be good to see them there. You know what? Truth be told, man, maybe somebody can correct me on this. There hasn't been a ton of Power Ranger Overdrive actors to really go to PMC outside of
1/6 Ranger.
Samuel Banta.
Always there.
Oh,
always
yeah.
There.
The Mercury Ranger, Dwayne Cameron. Yeah, he's there, which we've never talked to him before. But Caitlin Murphy was there at the last one. I know Samuel Banta, controversy and everything, was at one of the first ones. So it's going to be really interesting to see them hopefully all reunite, clear the air, and celebrate Power Rangers just like we're doing here on this stream. One thing that we have to do is talk about our fan theory of the week provided by our great friend Fan Club. And this one is about Cosmic Fury. Am I right, Jezzer?
It's about what happens after Cosmic Fury. So
okay,
let's hit it. Hold on.
Let's go.
I can't do this on my own, 'cause you know things ain't
I made a fake one.
Will the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers be the conclusion and the series finale to Power Rangers as we know it? Yes, folks, that is the question that we are asking today. We do have 11 episodes of Dino Fury left, but that 30th anniversary is coming up sooner than later. What is the Sentai that is going to be adapted? Who is going to be casted for this role? We do not know, but we know that in August, very soon, they are filming a new series. Right now, the working name that we're hearing is Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, but we don't know for sure if that is the name or if it's something different. It also poses the question, what is the adapted Sentai? Could it be Q Ranger? Could it be Kira Major? Could it be Zyuohger? We do not know, but there's a lot of questions and speculation going out that there is a character named Yin, and she is the female lead of this season, and there's a possibility that she could be Trini's daughter, guys. Yes, Trini, the fallen Yellow Ranger. Now, does that mean we're gonna get a giant team up? I believe so. We could get some Mighty Morphin, maybe some Billy action. Let's get some throwbacks, man. Some old Rangers that we have not seen in a long time and go out with a bang. We know Jonathan Entwistle has a huge project coming, guys. We just hired on Jenny. We got Jonathan. They're working on something. They also said that you're going to see new faces, but a completely different story. Meaning that this is going to be all original storylines, meaning that this could go out with a bang. We could see a giant team up in something legendary in Power Rangers. Now, why would they want to do that? Because I think that it could be the series finale, and at least for right now, they could always come back and kind of do this again, but will they have kids programming like this while they do the Netflix series and show, or will they go animated? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of the comments, let's go into them and see what you guys are saying out there. So Rex Money 470 says, if this is the case, I think a giant team up would be a fine way to conclude the franchise in this aspect. I mean, look at it this way. The 30th anniversary can dish out a decent amount of episodes. Then the final one can include a major team up of all the Power Rangers in the past. If so, they could adapt the Battle Megazord from Gokaiger. Ooh, okay. Hey, that would be sick, man. I like that. Dylan says there has to be a team up because it's the 30th anniversary, and when we see the old villains, it could be the biggest and greatest battle in Power Rangers history. I hope we see every villain. Matt says Power Rangers will continue. Christopher says, please, Hasbro, don't let Power Rangers end after season 30. I don't think it will end entirely, but it might end in a different regards, and maybe they might take a break or a pause and pursue other adventures and other business ventures, if you will. Mark says, I highly doubt the Power Rangers series will die after Dino Fury. Just asking, that's all. Thank you. Hey, thank you for watching, man. Man of the USA Jones says it will be very expensive to pull off. Yeah, having a huge team up would be very expensive, but let's go out with a bang. Let's get some Rangers together, man. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Colin says, I don't think so. Hey, it could happen and it might not happen. That's what this show's about. We are right a lot of the time and we are wrong a lot of the time. It happens, man. But we love you guys. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this content. You are the real MVPs. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace. Shout out to our Gold Ranger member, Willie Maloney. Become a member today. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this content, you know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. You can also become a member please join the fan club support team right now. We have a Blue Ranger power-up and a Gold Ranger power-up. This is an awesome way to talk with the fans. Join a fan club official chat group. You can also be featured in our videos. At the end of the videos, I will shout you out. That's if you get the Gold Ranger power-up membership. Go check it out. Go support the fan club. We love you guys, and thanks for watching. Peace.
Yo.
Yo, what's going on, guys? The Ranger Nation discussion of the week is going to be Cosmic Fury. We are one person short. We are waiting for Toku Chris to arrive. But I am joined by Eric Berry from Ranger Command Power Hour, the Power Ranger podcast. I like saying that, Eric, because you were literally the first Power Ranger podcast I listened to, and the one I still continue to listen to. Fantastic job on your content and your interviews. You do an excellent job. Heirloom, you can check him out every week, talking on his YouTube channel. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Doing well. I'm doing well. We got Dan from the fan club. Great theory of the week, Dan. How you doing, my friend?
What's going on, everyone? I'm excited as heck to be here, man. Let's get it.
Yeah, and we got Toku Chris joining us in just a little bit. But look, big news this week, Cosmic Fury. Now, I want to talk about this just a second because this news is legit. Simon Bennett addressed it himself that, of course, this could be a working title and it could change because originally it was called Dino Knights. But in essence, we know at least parts of what that theme are. And this is going to be a real genuine discussion because I kind of don't want to go inside the baseball a little bit because I think pure fan speculation on this one is just going to be so much fun. Cosmic Fury. First of all, when you guys heard the name, what was your initial thoughts? That's for any of you.
Dino Fury is going into space.
I think everybody thought that. I'm hoping. I know it's such a long shot. I'm hoping for Q Ranger, but that's just me and the rest of the fandom, right?
I think that's the knee-jerk reaction is to think Q Ranger. But when I heard Cosmic, like think of all the stuff that they've been doing with the Morphin Masters, like Cosmic. I just think bigger universe, explore the whole universe. And, maybe tie in what they're doing with the comics. I would love that.
I couldn't agree more, Eric. I couldn't agree more. I actually think I agree with that. I mean, Cosmic, and Simon Bennett told us last week that he wants to give fans what they want. And for the most part, these space seasons have been done really well and really accepted in terms of the Power Rangers. And I think that the key thing that Eric mentioned there was the name Fury. To carry that over makes the most sense. Kind of what you were saying, Dan. What do you think?
Okay, guys. So I think that there could be a chance that it could be Q Ranger. It could be Kira Major. And if it is, I believe there could be a fun opportunity to bring back the Zeo crystals because they use crystals. And what if in episode 1 of Zeo, Zordon said that the crystals get stronger in time? What if they have progressed and mutated into a new crystal and it's the most powerful form of Ranger? That's just something I think, and it could be fun and or it could be all original designs and they do their own thing for the first time ever in Power Rangers history.
See, if it is with the Zeo crystals and Kira Major and talking about tying it back into the comics, I know a lot of people kind of passed over that Beyond the Grid arc, but they literally had that void universe with a planet full of Zeo crystals. There's so much that they could do to tie everything together.
And Eric, I want to piggyback off of that for a second because one thing that you kind of mentioned is expanding the universe and really coinciding, telling the story with the comics, which we get a taste of that literally in episode 1 of Dino Fury. And along those lines, it seems like Simon Bennett is really understanding the landscape of Power Rangers, especially throughout Told on All Medium. If that moves in that direction, do you think that would be the most natural transition to move and expand the universe through the comics and the storytelling on the show?
I think it makes the most sense because of what they're doing with the comics. And I know with the Omega Rangers, how sick would that be to see those in live action? I think that would be amazing. Those suits are incredible. And plus, you think Cosmic, the comics did the Solar Rangers,
Right.
and it doesn't get more space and cosmic than that. I mean, they've got those amazing designs, which would look incredible in live action. You get some CGI with the galaxies flowing on their suits. I think that would look amazing.
How cool would it be too if they ran into the 2 Solar Rangers from the comics that we met? That would be super cool as well.
Oh, sorry.
I would love that.
It's okay. I don't know what happened there.
Oh no, it did. I just messing around with teams and it messed up.
Another thing too that I think is interesting is the upgraded, almost like the upgraded season. I feel like we've gotten that transition from Mighty Morphin to Zeo. Now we got the transition from Turbo to Space. This could be another natural transition for a power up of the Dino Fury cast. And it's a shorter season. We also know that it seems like it's going to be a shorter season. They're going to be there for a shorter amount of time. Now, here's another question. What are the chances that we can see some of these Ranger suits mixed up? They're making different Rangers from different parts of the galaxy. And we get like maybe Super Sentai teams or suits that we had never seen before.
Ooh.
On the show.
Well, I mean, that kind of happened with Super Mega Force. They got all those suits from Japan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible that they could mix in some suits, and all you'd have to do is get like a stunt person in the suit and just have like some kind of voice actor or something if they wanted to save on budget.
Absolutely. I think we got Chris here, right?
Yeah, we do.
We'll bring him in just a second. Toku Chris is joining us for this Ranger Nation discussion. All right, Chris. All right, once you're on screen, then I'll ask you. Let me ask you guys another question. Now, the 30th anniversary season has to be a big deal. If it is, Chris, now that you're on screen, Cosmic Fury, what's the first thing you heard when you thought of the name?
I heard space and I heard Fury. And it's you get scared, right? Because it's like, ooh, you know, like they kind of led us down that path, like, oh, Q Ranger can never happen. Q Ranger will never happen. Like, you know, I had Saban people tell me, yeah, no, Q Ranger can't happen. You've had Hasbro people tell you, not Q Ranger can't happen. But it's cosmic, right? And I get it. Cosmic doesn't have to mean space, but it's like, you want it to mean space. You want that Q Ranger. So it was a little bit out of left field in terms of everything that we had heard leading up to that point. So it's like, what is it going to be? I don't know. You
know, Russell Curry did say in an interview that we will see Rafcon again and that the characters will be changed by the end of the season. Us seeing Rafcon again, does that mean inherently we're automatically going to space? Because we know that Lord Zed is currently in space. So could that be our quote-unquote chase to space?
I hope so.
Chase to space too, guys. What do you think?
I kind of like it. I just imagine Lord Zed being on a throne and everyone loving him. And it's like, oh, Lord Zed saved the planet. He's not a bad guy. And he just looks at the Rangers going, yeah, beat this.
And we still never figured out how in the heck Lord Zed really got back either. Like, what is going on? And if he's back, who else has returned?
Yeah, you know.
Well, they explain that
do you think
episode.
He is going to ask anybody what happened to his kid?
Oh,
I mean,
no.
I think the kid doesn't exist in this world. I think they just kind of like erased it.
I think technically, not to nerd out completely, but I think it's one of those things where it's like they said he was revived. They brought him back from the point where he was his most evil, which at that point would not be when he was married to Rita Repulsa. So this is like the height of season 2 pre Rita coming back.
Yeah.
Lord Zed, so he wouldn't have a kid.
He probably doesn't even remember the kid. The kid's gonna knock on his door. It's like, hey, you don't remember me? It's like, who are you?
Happy Father's Day.
Question for you guys. Do you think, though, that this Cosmic Fury, that the main villain, especially being the 30th anniversary season, is going to be Lord Zed?
It would make perfect sense if they did.
Yeah, and
if
they did the helmet right
they don't
there.
wrap up. Yeah, if they don't wrap up his story in Dino Fury, expect him in Cosmic Fury. 100%.
Oh gosh, that sounds
we got it.
Weird. Cosmic Fury.
But you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I like the name of it, especially if it is related to Dino Fury. I think, like Eric was saying earlier, it makes the most transitional sense.
It does.
We got a super chat from Thomas DeCoste. This one's for you, Toku Chris. He says,
yes.
Toku Chris said he expects a new MMPR toy line to be the main toy line for 2023. Could that possibly give us Revisions 2.0?
Well, there's a lot of different factors to play. right? And this is all guessing, right?
Sure,
We're
this
just
is
guessing. Nobody knows. So we know that whatever this project is in theory, right? Because it's casted by MMPR Productions. So this is the New Zealand thing for 2023. It's only what 6 to 8 weeks of filming. And it feels very last minute, very hodgepodge, kind of like surprise, we're doing something. Let's get it out there. Everything I've seen, if there is a toy line for whatever this new series is going to be, by the time they send out their international, by international I mean to international Hasbro entities, the international guides for next year, there's nothing about a toy line for a new series next year. It's literally just spoilers. It's literally just MMPR looking stuff.
That's real fascinating
for next year. So I still believe that, yes, I do believe that it's going to be a MMPR heavy toy line. If there is a, I don't necessarily think we're going to get. And again, because you have to remember, like, they only put a casting call out for one Ranger for next year, for one Ranger, not for a team, just for one. Is that a 1 to add plus 6, or I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I still think it's going to be MMPR because they're celebrating 30 years of MMPR, and it sells. It sells. Hate it all you want. It sells. So
it's like every year then.
What's that?
So it's like every year.
Yeah, no change. No change for next year. Literally the same. Just no Beast Morpher toys on this.
So let me ask you.
Dino Fury.
Let me ask you guys this question, because what are some of the things in Cosmic Fury that we don't want to see? What can be some of the missteps or letdowns that could possibly happen?
See, I don't know. I want them to do the whole Yen story. I think out of all the Power Ranger stuff that we've had so far, we've never had. It's always either been JDF or Austin or something. But Trini, something to directly attach to Trini, I would love that, and that's got me all excited. If it's something like they just turn up and be like, "Oh, Jason sends his regard. Here's a power coin." About that's a letdown. Thanks for that, guys. It's something to let me down. I just think if it's just something not original, I think that's what would get me.
I mean, every indication so far, and I will say this, I think Simon Bennett's done a fantastic job of with Dino Fury season 1 and 2. I'm really excited about where Dino season 2 part B is where that's gonna go. And I mean, there's at least amongst the Rangers themselves, they're very excited for fans to see this finale, which makes me feel like it's going to be something different that we haven't seen before. And it makes me feel like, like we all kind of been discussing, it's a natural transition to get us to a pseudo Dino Fury season 3 in a shorter dose.
Dude, if they do something like at the end of Dino Fury season 2, that's a big tease to whatever the next season is. If it's truly a transition, kind of like what happened with at the end of Turbo, and it's like, watch next season on Cosmic Fury.
Exactly.
Yes.
Do you think?
How
do you
cool
guys think
would that
they
be
were
as a
there
crew?
long enough to shoot another season, or like, do you think they could have shot some stuff? No.
No, I don't think so either.
Because I don't think that they knew what the future was going to be.
Right.
By the time they finished filming last year or whatever. So
Yeah, he's right.
I don't think they had any idea what was going to happen.
They're all on Zoom calls.
Yeah, this whole season's going to be a Zoom. Just editing.
Do you know what I would quite like to happen? So do you know how when it moved into Zeo and you had the command center blow up? I would absolutely love it if Void Queen got into the base, started blowing stuff up. Soren's was like, "Get out, Rangers," hits the button, teleports them out, and all the keys go scattered across the universe. And they go, "Looks like we've got to go against the space." And then it's just like a quick mini series where they do it. And I think I'd be like, do you know what? That'd be cool. But seeing like the ground like blow up and become like a chasm, and then they reference it in like later seasons, like, "Oh yeah, what happened there?" I think it would be fantastic.
But do you
on the flip side of that, I would love to see if at the end of Dino Fury, there like the ship is unearthed, like like it comes out of the ground, like finally, and we get to see his ship, and then maybe that's a way for them to go into space.
It's the Q Ranger.
That's what I was thinking.
It's
the Q Ranger ship, right?
Whoa, that's crazy.
That would be.
But see, I had a theory, and Joe, you and I talked about this a while back. Simon's talked about like giving fans like something, because you asked him in your interview with him, you said, what would you want, or what do you want to deliver for the 30th anniversary per se? Like, what would you hope to see as a fan? And he kind of mentioned that he'd like to, obviously you want to give the fans what they want, you want to do that fan service to an extent. So I thought it'd be kind of cool. Imagine if like in Countdown into Destruction and Power Rangers in Space, that whole season, you had the Alliance of Evil, right? Imagine if you end this era, this universe of Power Rangers, because that's what they're going to do, right? They're going to reboot it with Entwistle. Imagine you end it with an Alliance of Good, and the best way they can do that is to do like, hey, we can't adapt all these seasons that didn't come out, but we can use the suits. Wouldn't that be crazy if they just went ahead and in the background you have the Q Rangers as a team of Rangers from another planet, and you have the Kira Majors, and you have Tokuger, and they're just background Power Rangers from different planets, different galaxies, and they're all there. Now you can be like,
it's
yay,
the Jedi Council of
God.
Power Rangers.
I mean, on top of that, and they're just extra. You don't have to give them names.
Yeah.
You don't have to give them actors. You just have them there, and present, and they're Power Rangers now, and that just opens literally every single door for Boom Studios,
Exactly.
for the Lightning Collection. That gives fans literally everything they want, because you can say, hey, you know what? Tokuger made it to Power Rangers, and Q Ranger made it to Power Rangers, and all these seasons made it. That's what I want, and I would
So
love more
Simon
than
wouldn't
anything else.
technically be lying. It's like, we can't do them. We'll do all of them.
Right.
We're just gonna exclude the yellow Q Ranger, because it has a pointy head, and then it's like, hey, we did it. I mean, it's still the same.
Because
thing.
you don't have to worry about like, oh, how do we make this gimmick toy with the Q-Tamas, right? The globes.
yeah.
How do we do that? How do we do the Zhuoger? How do we do the cubes? How do we do, trains don't sell? You don't have to worry about any of that. Make your own Megazord for whatever you need. These teams are just there in the background.
Mega Power
Perfect,
Brazil
done.
says Hall of Legends.
Oh.
There you go.
That'd be cool.
Or they could do like an
Mannequins.
Illuminati, like they did in Doctor Strange, but with just all the
Or
icons.
who's leading them? Who do you think's leading them?
Billy.
Mick.
Oh,
Keeper.
Because Mick is out in space right now looking for other Power
Mick
Ranger
is
teams,
like
remember?
the Wong of the MCU, where he's collecting all
Yeah,
these
I mean-
people for Endgame.
In all honesty,
and with him can be Billy. Billy and Mick can team together and bring all these Rangers
I
back.
mean, them going to
There you go.
Aquitar is a place we haven't seen, and we already heard that David Yost could be coming back. Is this a way to get an elder Ranger, a great Ranger for the 30th anniversary that was on that original team, back into the fold? We do have a super chat from Frankie Pimentel. He says, I heard they might use a white Ranger from Zenkaiger and have it be female. That's also something that I've heard as well. Do you guys want to address that? Do you think that there's going to be a white Ranger from Zenkaiger to be a female?
It'd be cool. I don't know. It'd be cool.
I think that if they did bring in the Zenkaiger suit, I think that you'd have to give it like a big kind of purpose. Like, so when Chris was saying like you had all the Rangers, like the Alliance of Good and that, I imagine like they just pass on the powers, so therefore they could have the gears, they could use whatever gimmick, so they could use it over and over. I just want to see them all kind of give power to one person, but if they could use it, I think it would work. But just change it. Like there was that edit someone did that put on the MMPR red helmet. I would be like, do you know what? That's what I would go for, and I would be on board for that 100%.
Well, another question I have for you guys is, do you think all 6 Dino Fury Rangers make it to the Cosmic Fury season, if that's what Cosmic Fury really is a continuation? Because I think Rafcon, no. I think our Gold Ranger stays on Rafcon to help out whatever's going on there, and the other 5 might go.
I think if anyone, we'd probably see Tessa Rao, because she's New Zealand native. I think, and because she's become such a fan favorite, if anyone's going to return from Dino Fury, I think it's her.
I would also agree with that.
See, that's why they can't do Kira Major, because the Green Ranger there has a skirt.
Oh, damn.
And Izzy doesn't wear skirts.
You can't take
I'm
it
just
off.
saying.
Yep.
Just throwing it
Her
out there right now.
whole arc is that she likes skirts now.
Do you know what, guys? It's really nice wearing a skirt. Whoops.
And hey, I will say that they haven't had a team up in a couple years due to COVID, so maybe they do want to try to milk as much of they can out of the Dino Fury Rangers.
Maybe. I mean,
They have to fly back,
Yeah,
though. That's
and
the only
the-
thing.
and-
Like 5 of them have to fly back.
and Hunter and Chance are going to be at Power Morphicon, so like, when do they say they were going to start filming?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
August.
it was August, yeah.
August 26th to the 28th. You know,
That's when you just.
that's going to
Sorry
be
to cut you off.
interesting. That's going to be a very, very
That's actually a
interesting
good
scenario.
We're not going to get like information like due to unforeseen circumstances. The Chance and Hunter
Oh,
won't
that
be
is
at Power
true.
MorphCon. They wish you the best.
They wouldn't announce that. Like, you'd find that out when you got to the
Yeah,
show.
that's
When
how
it
they
would be
do it.
announced. It'd be like, where'd they go? Kind of like when Camille
Oh,
Hyde
yeah.
didn't show up last
Yeah, I was
PMC.
just-
Like
They,
you're-
they didn't tell people to the day of.
the John Travolta meme where you're like,
To the day of, they didn't tell people that. So you're at the convention, you're like, I'm here in Pasadena. What's going on? Crazy.
I mean, it's going to be really fascinating the way that is kind of handled. If this is the case, I mean, look, again, I want to tell everybody that's watching this, this is not an inside baseball type of thing. This is pure us being fans and loving the franchise and just talking about things that we think it could be or things that we'd want to see. Nothing official on that we're announcing on any of this stuff. We do have another super chat from the Blurry. Says, do you think Hasbro will promote the 30th more? And that's for anybody. I mean, I think that's a resounding
more
yes.
than what?
Exactly, more than nothing. I have more than what?
If they do 3 posts, then they have definitely done it.
Well,
Just 3. That's all it is.
Chris, you were kind of telling me, I mean, it's so fascinating when you were kind of breaking this down for me, but there's been more G.I. Joe figure announcements just in the last few months than there has been for Power Rangers the whole year, right?
Yeah, it's not even close. It's like between like G.I. Joe Classified, right? That's the 6-inch like Lightning Collection style, but G.I. Joe figures. They've been sharing figures that they haven't even have designs for that are in development still. So they haven't even fleshed out a 3D model yet, but they're saying, hey, we're going to do this figure and this figure and this figure's plan. So you add all those up, it's like 36 figures.
Wow.
Since the last time Power Rangers, other than the Wild Force Blue Ranger, other than that, since they've like actually officially revealed a wave.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's crazy.
That's incredible. So, all right, so let me ask you guys this question. So, look, I'm probably anticipating Dino Fury season finale more than I have been on any other season finale of the show in quite a long time. And now that we know that it's on Netflix, and we know that they can take a little bit more chances on Netflix and tell more serialized storytelling, what are you hoping out of that season finale that you haven't seen in previous finales? I mean, the one thing that I think we can all kind of agree on is that Lord Zed's going to have to play some kind of factor into this finale.
More Morphin Masters, I think. I think like leading into like what's going on with them. Maybe that's what's going to lead into Cosmic Fury.
Oh. I just want a whole RAFCON wrap up. That's what I want, because Zato and Ion have been such a big part of that series, and the possibility that that Amelia might be maybe the Void Queen, Void King daughter. I mean, we don't know about that, but she might be part alien. I would just love to see just all these storylines come to a head and just have a satisfying conclusion. Even if it doesn't lead to the 30th, I just want a nice finale that doesn't feel rushed.
Eric, you brought up a really good point, because if Amelia is part alien, and then we already know 2 of the members of that team are from RAFCON, and let's say we do go to space where we can meet more aliens. I mean, Cosmic Fury does sound like it could lead up really well to Q Ranger. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. I know fans want it. It seems
that's what
like
we've all speculated, because Q Ranger has such an opportunity to bring back all of the past alien worlds that have been featured across 30 years of Power Rangers. Like, yeah, I mean, that could be like Scorpina's race, or
sure,
Mercuria, like from Silver Operation Overdrive, Aquitar. Like,
who knows? Maybe Mick gets his own Ranger costume in this team, right? He's in New Zealand.
Saying you have a Zord that kind of looks like a baby Serpentera. I'm just throwing that out there,
you
too.
do,
right?
You do.
Thrax coming back,
floating in space still.
Oh man.
So look, if you guys were betting men, would you guys say, if you had to choose, I mean, if you had to think what it's going to be, would you say Q Ranger, or would you say something completely different?
Something different.
All right.
Something different.
Okay.
As much as I love Q Ranger idea, it's going to be something different.
Something different.
Power Rangers All Stars.
That's what I said. Power Rangers All Stars originally. I agree, though. I also think it's going to be something different, and I'm not sure if it was you, Dan, or you, Eric, that mentioned the Zeo Crystal, because that was such a big part of the Beyond the Grid storyline. I think, Chris, we even talked about this a little bit. That Zeo Crystal and the Beyond the Grid storyline, it lends itself really well to open up the world, at least on the television series, open up the world and kind of explore new things that they can do. I think that's a great way. The Solar Ranger suits I'd love to see in real life as well.
Oh, yeah.
They've already laid the groundwork for different universes since Ninja Steel and before that with the teleportal devices that were introduced in the comics.
Yeah.
Like it's literally the same design from Shattered Grid. So they've already started making those connections for the past 5 years. And, hate Ninja Steel all you want, but, in the past 5 years, they've done a lot of internal world building that feels like a callback to Mighty Morphin Zordon era.
Dude, great point, Eric. Matter of fact, I look at Ninja Steel very much like I look at Iron Man 2, where you get introduced to S.H.I.E.L.D. Look, that's Iron Man 2 is where we start getting the world building in the MCU. Like, that's where we start getting, more references to
Black
Thor.
Widow.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Coulson has to go off to New Mexico to deal with whatever Thor's got going on, right? We get S.H.I.E.L.D.'s impact there. If you take that movie for what it is, it's really the genesis of building the world of the MCU. I look at Ninja Steel very similar to that, where, like, granted, it might not have been the best season, but some of the elements that they've threw into that show are things that are paying off now.
And you got the Ninja Steel thing
in
the last season, right? Season 1, they had the Nexus or whatever. So it has to be
the Nexus
it has
Prism.
to be part of something. You can't. It's just not a throwaway, right? No.
I'm glad Dino Fury dropped the Ninja Nexus Prism and just called it the Nexus Prism. Yeah. And that's another cosmic thing because they tied it with the Morphin Masters. Yeah. And they've got those Morphin Master suits. I think Cosmic Fury is going to deal with the Morphin Masters in a big way.
Well, I said too that the Morphin Masters were going to play an important role at the end of the season, and I can't figure out what role they would play.
Right.
Aside from something that has to be continuation going forward, like
a fight between them and Lord Zed.
Ooh.
That's what I would want to see.
Whoa.
You're kind of crazy.
Like, full on fight.
Do got another super chat from the Blurry. Says, should the MMPR and MMPR movie games be remastered?
Wow, random.
Yes.
No.
Unless you're gonna give us one game that has
all
of the games.
All the games.
Yes, if you give us a game that has the first one, the second one, the Zeo games on PlayStation 1,
yeah, all these games.
Yes.
Hey, let's be real too. Let's give some props to the TMNT Shredder's Revenge game because I really feel like that has made retro gaming I'm pretty sure in the next year you're going to see a ton of games.
Such a fun game.
Double Dragon 4 is magically going to appear. And,
fantastic point, Chris. Fantastic.
Castlevania 5 is going to show up and it's going to be an NES style. You're going to see all this coming back, and I think it's a glorious thing.
Awesome.
I couldn't agree more. So let me ask you, Cosmic Fury, do you guys think that's the final title? If it is the final title?
No. There's no way that they know already exactly what. I mean, they probably know a little bit, but they don't know exactly what they're going to be doing. And I think that's just a placeholder, maybe.
I think they do to an extent because this is just production started. Filming doesn't start till August, as far as we know. So you still have 2 months where you have to build sets and stuff like that. But I mean, you have to be getting pretty close to because in theory, right? So they don't start pre-production until everything's been finalized in terms of story and episode count and all that stuff. So they already have that hammered out and figured out. They already know the story they're about to tell. They just have to make the sets now and then get the cast out and train them and do all that stuff.
Chris, real quick question for you. I know that you had said earlier that Yin was the only character that was revealed through any of those breakdowns. Have no other characters come out?
As far as I'm aware, I don't think anyone's found any other casting for Power Rangers. No. And on top of that, they specifically only wanted an Asian descent woman to get the role. They did not. They did ask agents not to have any other ethnicity really apply for it. They just wanted an Asian.
So there was something that I stumbled upon earlier this year that did have more Power Ranger breakdowns, but I kind of disregarded them. There was about, I want to say there was 8 of them on there. But I don't know. I don't know what specifically.
Something came out, but it's the same. It was like a dialogue, a back and forth. But
no, it was just
it's
little
the same
break.
one
it was
that's come out every single season.
No, it was these little character breakdowns, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything super descriptive. You know what I mean? It was very much it was very vague for the most part. I thought it was just comedy duo type of things. But
I mean, the only reason they're not casting is because they don't need a cast. So it's either because they don't have a cast,
Right,
or
right.
they already have one.
and then the idea too would be that you would have to also have to assume that if they are getting out there in August, that if it is Dino Fury essentially season 3, that a lot of these actors don't have to go through the boot camp again. You would assume, unless it's to learn like a new morph.
Which we know they are doing because we've seen the stunt crew working
Exactly
on a new
right.
morph.
Exactly.
That stuff got taken down real quick.
Here's a question for all of you. What happens if they do the strongest battle? What would you think?
Ooh.
Do the
The
what?
strongest battle. It was right before.
Yeah.
Was it right before Ryu Soldier?
Yeah,
It's
it led into Ryu Soldier because you had Ryu Soldier show up
Yeah,
in the middle
Guy
towards the end.
Sorg was a huge storyline in it. That would be.
I'm
cool.
unfamiliar. Catch me up. I don't know
It
what
was
this
like a
means.
six episode run right after. Was it?
Yeah, it's
It's
a
like a Super Sentai
a mysterious
miniseries.
sorceress. Well, wasn't her name Rita
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
or
Yeah,
something like that?
it was very
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
like Rita. So they could
So she has this tournament or whatever, and she's pitting all these teams of Rangers against each other, and I forget what it's been so long ago now. But the winning team gets something special, whatever. But then
they get their greatest wish. That's what it
yeah,
was.
but then but the problem is that then the character that we know as Void Knight or Guile Sorg or whatever his name was, it's kind of like this outlier that just comes in and he just demolishes every single Sentai character he fights. And so that follows one set team, which is like Gokai Red, Juo Eagle, Sasori Orange.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
So
But it followed the 5
Yo,
of them.
this sounds amazing. Where is this?
We watched.
I'll look you up.
Dude,
I'll
you have to
me
watch
and you,
it.
Joe, we'll talk
Yeah.
afterwards.
But it
see
ended
this.
and in the Super Sentai footage, the only Soldier Rangers that were in it were green and black. So
Yes.
so it could be.
Is this is this like a mini series?
It's a mini
It was a
Or a
6-episode miniseries.
It was a miniseries that led from, what was it, Lupin
Yeah.
Pat?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
I
Ryu
got
Soldier,
to
because
check
there
this
was
fucking
there
thing
was a
out.
gap in between the series, so it was like a 6-episode series that bridged the gap.
But there's so much great footage that they could take from that special and integrate it into whatever 30th season
And-
that they do.
and
you
don't-
just want the Shadow
yeah,
Rangers.
and
to
you
I do.
dip in.
I do.
and you don't need
Get
the
John
physical
Dewey in
actors
there.
to be there, right? You could have them do VO from LA and just have
Yep.
them voice the characters and just
Yep.
have the New Zealand characters be there. You know?
Oh, dude, yo, that idea sounds dope. I just wonder how the rights work out if they can use any of that footage, if it's a miniseries or whatever it may be. That sounds super cool though, and I got to watch this immediately because I had no
we
idea
get
this thing
Troy
existed.
back.
Oh no.
I would,
Yeah,
I
maybe,
would
hey,
love it.
If we can redeem that character, who knows? Toku Kid sends in a super chat. He says, I don't know if anyone has really sat down and thought about it, but how do y'all feel about the current version of the show ending after 30 years and rebooting?
We got to
I
mix
think
it
it's
up.
needed. I think it's needed. Like I've
This formula worked
yeah.
15 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. I mean, Samurai was pretty big, but viewership has gone down. It hasn't ever gone up. It's gone down. Toy sales bumped up with Dino Charge, but then they went back down again. The brand needs something new, something to instill some life into it. I know a lot of us hoped that they were going to go animated at one point. They still might. Whatever Entwistle and the lady that just joined, I forget her name. Forgive me.
Jenny Klein.
Yes, whatever they come up with, I'm excited for it, and I really hope it does put a breath of fresh air because this brand, I love this brand. So don't get me wrong when I say this, but it will not survive another 5 years at the rate it's going right now. I am surprised it still survives at this point. I would have thought Hasbro would have shelved it 2 years ago because Beast Morphers didn't do it. So I thought they would have been like, done. And keep in mind, Dino Fury is only 1 year. It was only 1 year. Simon Bennett's confirmed it was originally 1 season show, and they had to make a second season on the fly.
Wow.
Dan, this question's for you because I know that we're talking about Power Rangers essentially needing a shot in the arm to really stay competitive with a lot of these other franchises. I know in 2017 we had the Power Rangers movie, and a lot of fans were very divisive on that movie. However, in 2017, it felt like that was a big year for us as fans because the Boom Studios comic books were hitting on all cylinders. I mean, Kyle Higgins is a fantastic writer, so of course they were. It felt like there was a real brand resurgence. Do you think that what are some of the lessons they can learn from that 2017 misstep with their film in order to not fall into that same problem?
Yeah, so first of all, one thing that really stood out to me was it was super dark, but there wasn't a lot of happiness, and it was kind of boring in the first hour, especially when you start out with Zordon and Rita and the Green and Red Rangers, and it was just looked so cool. And then the next hour, they're talking the whole time, and I didn't get those good, happy vibes of Angel Grove, man. Some things that have always worked with Power Rangers, when we were kids, it was never like X-Men or Batman the Animated Series. It was Power Rangers, and it was goofy, and it was dancing and the hip-hop keto and just a happy vibe. And I think that they got away from all of that, and they said, let's make this kind of dull and boring for a good hour in between. And that's what I think we were missing with that. And the fans still love that. We like some comedy in our action show, just not that slapstick fart comedy, but we like some good jokes, man. And that's something that the 2017 movie didn't capitalize. And I think I was telling Jezzer about this a while ago, is one thing that can help save you and not even know it is a good soundtrack. The soundtrack for the 2017 movie was booty juice, man. They didn't spend any money on the promotion. And like, do you guys remember the original movie? It was not that good of a movie, but that soundtrack sold the movie. You had Lil Wayne, Logic, Ty Dolla $ign, all of the best people in the game at the time were promoting this brand, and because of the soundtrack, the movie was a #1 hit for a few weeks, even though it wasn't that good. We did not promote it that well, and even, dude, we've seen worse movies than the 2017 Power Ranger movie make more money and be more successful. There was a promotion error. So if I had control of this company, I would promote it way differently, and I would spend some money. I wouldn't be like Saban. I'd be calling big names to really help this out, man.
All right, so we got a couple super chats, and I want to ask Heirloom, the first one. Would you want a villain show a la HBO Harley Quinn?
Ooh.
Would I?
Is there a villain that's captivating enough that you think that can get their own show? I mean,
Astronema.
I guess
Astronema,
solid answer.
Roxy, everyone out.
All right.
Just get all the girls together. There are Divatox, Rita,
Yeah.
Astronema. Just put them all in a house.
Thrax,
make it a reality
where's this
TV
Thrax
series.
guy at, right?
I'd call it a girls' night out, and then just literally they just wreak havoc.
That'd be great.
But I will say one thing. In the 2017 film, there was a lot of jokes. It was called Power Rangers 2017 film. That was the biggest joke of that.
Wow. We got another super chat,
true,
and I'm going to address this one to you, Eric. It's from Frankie Pimentel. Sure. Do you think Power Rangers will go through the Stranger Things route now that it's on Netflix?
I don't see how they could do that. I mean, Stranger Things was such a captivating on 80s nostalgia, and it's weird because even though Mighty Morphin was in the 90s, it wasn't about like hair bangles and like fanny packs and all that stuff. Like there's a certain time. Yeah, there's a certain timeless quality about MMPR, and that's why, it's still popular to this day. And, we've seen this brand try to replicate that over and over. So Stranger Things formula, unless you have a solid cast of, really captivating individuals, I don't see that formula working for Power Rangers unless, they have to do something to mix it up. I don't want them to copy a formula. I just want them to create a good formula for themselves.
Right. Chris, we have another super chat, and this one I'm going to ask you. Frankie Pimenta also asks, issues with the Power Ranger 2017 is because they were too embarrassed to embrace the campiness and the source material as they wanted to be serious, story-driven. I guess that wasn't necessarily a question as much as it was a comment, but would you like to follow up?
I'll still address that. So I don't think it was an issue about not addressing or not wanting to do the campiness, because you do have some moments that are whatever. The problem I think they ran into, I'll talk about costumes some other time. Like, that's a whole nother story. They tried too hard to be a Marvel movie. in the sense that we're going to tell an origin story and then we're going to follow the team. You want to know why Spider-Man works so well? This last Spider-Man series that we've had going is because they didn't tell an origin story, because everybody already knows how Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man. For the most part, like, everybody knows how Power Rangers become Power Rangers. Like, we didn't need an origin story. We didn't need an hour and a half of a teen drama, The Breakfast Club, before you get 15 minutes of Power Rangers action. And of that 15 minutes, only 3 minutes of them are actually fighting. The rest is they're riding in a Zord cockpit. What I feel they missed out on was the fact that people like Power Rangers because of the martial arts, because of the stunt choreography, because of the action. It's an action kid show, not a comedy kid show. But, if I would have done differently, I mean, morphing would have been a pose. It wouldn't have been standing on a weird ledge saying, "Oh, it's morphin' time." And yet, I remember Docker had to fight to get that line in the movie in the first place. So there was a lot of things wrong with 2017, and I think the biggest problem is that I don't believe the director Dean Israelite really knew what he was doing. Saban, I think he already made the decision to sell the brand anyways, and it was just a matter of do what we can to make this blow up as big as we can so I can get the most money I can before we get out.
I mean, it definitely felt, I agree with that. It definitely felt as if Dean Israelite came in with a pitch that very much felt like a pseudo Marvel movie, and it just got greenlit, and then Lionsgate was all about it because they wanted a superhero property as well. And here we are, some 5 years later.
Was it more so like a placeholder so they can keep the rights to it, kind of like how they did with Fan 4 Stick?
For
Lionsgate, the rights. To the movie?
Lionsgate didn't have the rights until that deal was made. I think currently, right now, Paramount has the rights to produce.
So Lionsgate had the home video release, licensing, the home video distribution, and. That was it. And then they have the rights to this movie. So this 2017 movie, they own that movie, right? Because that's their movie, so to speak.
Well, they dipped their hands into the games too, because Legacy Wars is still, tied to Lionsgate.
Oh, is that right?
That's why they still use that logo, is because that was derivative. So I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I can tell you for a fact that there was talks of doing a sequel, like an actual sequel to the movie, and there was actually time and conversation spent about how can we do that without referencing anything to that movie, because
Chris, let me ask you this, without getting into too much detail. Do you think that the planned sequels for that cinematic universe they were already trying to create with Power Rangers, knowing what the sequels were going to be, do you think it would have worked, and do you think fans would have been receptive to it?
I don't know that a pitch ever got past a pitch stage, if that makes sense. I think I have to be careful how I word this because I don't know that I'm just.
Yeah, try to tread lightly here.
I feel that based on what I know and what I have seen in the mediums I have seen them in, yes, I think they would have liked it because, as far as I understand, they liked it when it happened anyways. So we'll leave it at that.
This is for everybody. We have another super chat. Do you believe Power Rangers will make it to 2030?
Ooh.
Actually, I mean, it's a fair question. Chris says no.
It's a hard road. They have a really hard road to follow. If the 30th anniversary doesn't kick off as much as they hope it does, I don't see. I think Hasbro can shelve it.
It's a public. It's held by a company that has shareholders now, and not only that, they have a new CEO, and we're coming out of a pandemic and possibly going into an economic recession. There's not a lot of not a lot of room for mistakes. Well, it did okay.
Yeah.
So
right. We got another.
To his point, imagine it like you're a professional sports player. It could be football, basketball, whatever. And the guy that drafted you is now on another team.
Sure.
And your owner, your head coach is now someone else. So they don't really care about you like they once did. And that's it. I didn't even think about it, but Toku Chris is right. We're in a situation where we might be the redheaded stepchild.
I mean, in all honesty,
I think we're already.
Yeah, exactly right, Eric. I think that the Power Rangers already is. I mean, that's. Does anybody watch that Fan First Friday where we got the announcement of a piñata? I mean, it did very much seem that way. We do have another super chat. Frankie Pimentel says, which is why Sonic succeeded where Power Rangers failed, in reference to the 2017 movie, I'm assuming.
I think that's apples and oranges, right? That's totally two different types of.
Yeah.
However, it is a
I mean,
video
it's-
game
it's-
movie, and those are cursed.
Yeah.
And somehow Sonic was good, and Power Rangers, which is
the
thing-
power of the
I think it's
internet.
apples to apples in that it's a nostalgic.
yeah.
The power of the
Yeah.
internet
Sure.
saved that movie. Like the amount of hype around that movie after the internet was able to cause the character design to change.
Yeah.
That amount of
Yeah.
hype led enough people to feel like a loyalty, like, well, I got to go see how this works. I want to see what they changed. And then
still good. Though.
Sega did a great
It
job
turned out to be
of
good,
letting
yeah.
that character kind of be created by the writers and not
Yep.
held back to, well, no, we can't have Sonic do this because Sonic the Hedgehog would never do this. They just said, hey, write a funny movie, and that's what they did.
Another thing that I like that we're talking about too is last week's big focus on Power Rangers was the new showrunner Jenny Slate, whereas this week's focus is really on what Simon Bennett's doing, which I think has been killing it. So, do you think Power Rangers, or what excites you the most next year about going into Power Rangers? It's a big year. I mean, 30th anniversary, but is it the show? Is it this year's finale?
So I feel like I'll jump in real quick and then I'll be quiet so everyone can talk. I feel like we're in that same time period we were when Eddie G got to run the show after Bruce Kalish left, when Disney finished it off with RPM.
Oh, yeah.
In the sense that I feel like they're kind of like, hey, we know what the future is, Mr. Bennett, and it's not going to be anything that we're doing here. So this is what you have to work with. We're not necessarily, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming we're not going to have like a big toy line for it. So go crazy, have fun. Here's your budget, make some magic. And I hope and feel in a way that that's what we're going to get this next year. So that's what has me excited and nervous.
How about you, Heirloom?
I think that I'm more excited about the Netflix stuff going on because you've got someone that's worked with superhero brands, someone that understands how certain things work. So
Wait,
it's
you're
more
talking
like
you're
fighting.
talking about Jenny Slate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like with her working on all of this sort of stuff, we will get a better project. And I think that they'll just turn around and look at the after Dino Fury, whatever it's going to be. I think they'll go, that's not making money. That's not really doing what we want. We're going to more focus on this one. But I do think that if it comes back afterwards and it's like the Netflix thing didn't really work out, they'll be like, shelve it and just make toys.
Yeah.
Dan, how about you?
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength as Heirloom. I really want to see that Netflix, that Jonathan Entwistle project really take off. I mean, what has it been? Like a year and a half, and we still haven't
It's
really
been like
heard,
2 years.
almost
Yeah.
2 years, and we haven't heard much about it. It's part scary, but part fun because we always fear what we don't know. But at the same time, it's fun not knowing something for once because it's always the same dang thing every year. By this time, we know that we're getting a Sentai adaptation, and it's part scary but kind of cool that we don't know what it is. I'm hoping that it's a good project. And to Heirloom's point, you have somebody that's coming in there that has done so many different projects, between some dramas to supernatural to Marvel shows. If we can get a little mix of all of that in one, and then to Eric's point, creating its own thing, not trying to be like, a 90s show. We can give you some of the same feelings of Power Rangers. That's for like the vibes of Power Rangers. That's cool. But create and do your own thing. That's what I'm excited for, because we're really in like an innovate or die mode right now, guys. We got to switch it up and we got to try something new and take some risks. I know a lot of the fans want to kind of see the Sentai adaptations still happen every single year, but I think it might be smart to kind of switch it up a little bit.
Papa Barry, what says you?
Papa Bear.
Yeah, Papa Bear. I like it. So, that's my new rap name. But no, like I have to agree with all the points. Like we're in this very exciting time for Power Rangers, and it is that make it or break it moment. And what I'm most excited for, I want to see how the creative team currently in New Zealand wraps up Dino Fury, because that's going to be a huge indication of what the 30th anniversary New Zealand season is going to be like. And to go with Toku Chris's point, where it's almost like that RPM situation, the brand is letting the creatives just go all full control because they don't know what's going to happen next, or they're planning to move away from this particular universe. And we've seen what Simon Bennett and Becca and Alwyn. We got to give credit to the writers. I know they weren't very popular, but now everything that we've learned with the restrictions that they had their hands tied in earlier seasons, but now at Dino Fury you're seeing that creative control. So to give them an RPM like creative control, I'm very excited for what's after Dino Fury. I'm still excited for Entwistle projects, but that feels like it's later on down the line.
I think it's important to remember too is, and I've been critical of the writers of the show because I haven't agreed, there was a tonal shift between Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge that never changed back. Like, it just got really weird. And we have learned since then that a lot of that was both Haim Saban, but also Nickelodeon contrived.
Yeah.
So in Dino Fury, as good as it has been, like, I'm not a huge fan of it because I still feel like it falls into the same tropes that it's always fallen into every single season. But whatever this Cosmic Fury is, this will be the first time that there is no Nickelodeon at all. Not for half a season, not for part of season, nothing. It's important to remember, too, Netflix is not a producer. They are just distribution. So this is still all Hasbro E1 money. There's no Netflix money in this. I know everyone goes like, oh, Netflix. No, it's distribution, not production.
Right.
But writing for a Netflix show versus writing for a kids broadcast television show is completely different. So you could get linear stories, like a story that actually takes place over the span of episodes as opposed to trying to fit everything into one 22-minute segment. There's a lot of possibilities.
And if the rumors are true about 44 minutes per episode, I mean, that's a huge storytelling.
Eric, I don't think that one's true. I think that when I gave that information to our editor, I think he mixed up the special that was
the Entwistle.
No, the 30th anniversary special and the actual show. At least that's my understanding of the situation. I just wanted to.
But still, like, totally agree with Chris. Like, this will be a solid, tightly written season, beginning, middle, end. No filler, like, all story.
No more excuses either, because now you can't say, well, Nickelodeon kept us from doing this, or Haim Saban. There's no more excuses now. Now we're going to see. I mean, I understand it's still technically a kid's show, but all those little rules, like, oh, well, you can't have them hit each other in the face on a kid's show. Well, guess what? It's not on broadcast television now. Now it's on Netflix. Right. So the excuses are gone. What can you do with the freedom that you've got with what Hasbro will allow? And Hasbro, if you look at Boom Studios, Hasbro's allowing a lot. I mean, there's very little that's off the table now with Hasbro. So.
I'm glad you brought up Boom Studios, because do you think that after 2023, if Boom Studios continues their relationship with Power Rangers or Hasbro, do you think that the comics will still focus on the universe that's been created since 1993?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do too. I think that'll be the way that they carry on the seasons.
You're going to create a new universe, and you're going to do that through whatever Entwistle and Jenny are doing. But you have to give that one has to come out first, and then two, like, you got to get interested in it. Like, if no one cares about it, like, you're going to run into the thing where you have like movie tie-in books that nobody reads and nobody cares about because no one cared about what you made. So give that time to kind of saturate and breathe, and then jump into that. But no, I firmly believe we'll still be getting Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for another probably 2 or 3 years out of Boom Studios at least.
Jezzer, what are you looking forward to next year in terms of just being a Power Ranger fan?
I don't know about next year, but the future for Power Rangers, I want a bigger audience. I want, like, I know.
Are you talking more mainstream audience? Is that what you mean by bigger audience?
I wanted to hit the more mainstream audience, and like, I know there's a lot of like purist fans that want to keep it the same way and keep those gates closed, but I want it open to more people and open, like, to the point where, like, you can talk about it like you talk about Stranger Things, like you talk about The Boys, like, when you go to the water cooler at work, it's like, oh man, did you see that new episode of Power Rangers? Like, it's freaking sick. Like, and you're just the anticipation for the next episode, the next week, like with Obi-Wan or these Disney Plus shows. I want that feeling for Power Rangers. I want to be able to like I can't, like, on my normal day job, I can't go. It's like, hey, you see that new season of Power Rangers? Like, it just doesn't translate as well. And nothing against Power Rangers.
Jezzer, what was the last time you did that though? When was the last time for Power Rangers? When was the last time you approached somebody and like, hey, have you seen this, or have you saw this? What was the last? Do you remember the last time you did that?
I mean, for work, it was probably the movie, but that's about it.
So I've got 3, right? So I have the Shattered Grid trailer. It was one time I actually approached like coworkers who don't know what I do. Like, I don't make this like part of my like going to work life. So The Shattergood trailer, obviously Power Rangers 2017 movie. Before that was actually RPM.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I'd be like, hey, you want to see something that's Power Rangers, but not
Yeah.
really?
See, that's what I want. I want that mainstream audience. I want people to like still know that it exists, but there's so much pushback from like the purists, like, no, keep it the same, keep it the same. It's like, you want it to grow, you want better, like, production value, you want all these good things, but it's not going to be that unless you open up the door and let everybody else in and enjoy the same stuff that you want. And I think that's what I want. And if the 30th season is a stepping stone to it, and the Entwistle and Jenny Klein thing is a stepping stone to that, I'm all for it.
Well, look.
But see, being Papa Barry here, I would love nothing more than for my son to turn 5 and Power Rangers still be relevant. I want something to share with him in the future. And that's the only way that Power Rangers is going to survive 30, 35, 40, 50 years. Agreed. Is if they bring in the next generation, they bring in these new generations and get it back into the mainstream.
Yeah, so watching Power Rangers with my 7-year-old has been fantastic because I tried introducing it to her back when she was 4 during MMPR. She stuck on for a while but couldn't stay with it, but she loved Dino Fury to the point when we finished it and season 2, part 1, I was like, we're out of episodes. And she was like, no, she immediately wanted more episodes. So I agree, Eric, that might be a small step, right? Power Rangers Dino Fury might be the first small step of something different, but that's the step that we needed. And hopefully they continue to trend in that direction because like Eric is saying, anybody out there, and I'm sure Liz, Chris, anybody out there with kids, you guys all know that like, you want to get your kids into the stuff that you're into as well. And I agree. The only way that I don't want to say the only way, but one of the main ways the Power Rangers survives is constant reinventing itself. And it's done a good job of staying alive. Look, I'll be honest with you. It's done a great job of staying alive thus far without having to do much of that. But this is now everything else is moving so quickly. We have the Marvel universe where literally you can watch a new episode of something Marvel almost every week. Yeah. Star Wars is making a huge resurgence back. Yeah, Star Trek, Eric knows this. Star Trek. Yep. Currently right now, Star Trek there's more Star Trek on now.
There's like 5 series right now. It's insane. I'm eating right as a Star Trek fan.
But look how long it had to take such a long time for you guys to get there though, right?
Exactly.
And I'm hoping that Power Rangers can somehow, some way reinvent itself to be almost like Star Trek's a really good example, actually, because they have an animated series currently running right now, which is a comedy. Two animated series. Yeah, there's the comedy one, and then there's Lower Decks, and what's the other one?
Prodigy for kids.
Right, and then we have New World, Picard, Discovery. I mean,
and 2 more series on the way.
And and critically acclaimed as well. I mean, this is one of those things where I think, like I said, Star Trek is a really good example of this because a character like Picard, who was a popular character back some 30 years ago.
I say it all the time on my podcast. Power Rangers needs to do the Star Trek formula, create multiple shows for different audiences and grow from there.
And there's nothing holding them back now, especially being on Netflix.
No.
And I think that's honestly, I think that's the best way to wrap out this portion of the show, the Ranger Nation discussion panel. The show's not over, guys, because Jezzer still has an interview with Chris Cantata. But guys, just real quick, let's go around the circle. Where can everybody find you on social media? We will start with you, Eric Papa Barry.
All right, you can find me mainly on Twitter or Instagram at TrekkyB47. Also, my podcast, The Ranger Command Power Hour, at rangercommand.com, and then on Twitter at rangercommandph. But we're all over the socials. Bit of a podcast hiatus right now because, I'm Papa Barry. But we'll be back at some point. But we're still active on Twitter and continuing that comics news. So
hey, go give him a follow on Twitter. He's a new dad as of like a week ago. Give the dude a follow.
2 weeks.
Yeah, congratulations,
2
man.
weeks.
Two-week-old dad. I love it. Toku Chris, my man, where can people find you on social media?
So you can find me personally at Toku Chris on all social media. You can also find the work that I do over at Toku Nation, at Power Ranger, and also at Effin' Cool.
Heirloom, how about you, my friend?
You can find me everywhere bar Twitter as Heirloom, but on Twitter you can find me at Mainstream Live.
And Dan, where can we consume your brilliant content, my friend?
Well, congrats on 10K, bro.
Yeah,
10K!
I just hit
Good job,
yesterday.
my friend.
Thanks, guys. I was happy as heck, man. It was a good day. So you guys can check us out on YouTube and also check us out on Facebook. Pretty much anywhere. You can type in the fan club. I'm always around.
And we have another super chat from Frank. He says, just be as good as the other shows. That's all I want. Or even better than some of the other shows would be fantastic. Thank you guys for joining us on this Ranger Nation discussion. Jezzer did a great interview with fan creators we want to spotlight, and eventually we're going to get to every single person in this room. But Chris Cantata, if you guys have been watching his content, check him out. And if you guys want a little behind-the-scenes glimpse of how he does his content, check out this interview with Jezzer right now.
What's up, Illuminerds? It is time for the Power Rangers Fandom Spotlight, and I'm here with the one and the only Chris Cantata. Sir, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is an honor for me.
Now, you've been part of the fandom for a while now, and I feel like you're in the Power Ranger fan film and Power Ranger video side. You are a staple. Can you tell me how you initially got associated or got intertwined into this universe?
Yeah. I was born in '85, so when I was a kid, who would, at that age would watch TV, it was the perfect time for Power Rangers. So for sure I grew up watching the originals, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I was at that perfect age to really consume it. And then life happened, and I went to other things. But I can remember in, I guess, 2013, 2014, when the 20th anniversary of Power Rangers was coming up. I remember it was just blowing up on my Facebook, where Tommy was going to come back for the whole Super Mega Force thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, whoa, wow, there's still Power Rangers. I mean, I knew there were still Power Rangers after Mighty Morphin, like, because I also watched Zeo and stuff, but like I never knew like it continued until 20 years later. So I figured I wanted to like cosplay the Green Ranger at that point, like 2013, because I was already cosplaying like Star Wars stuff, like this, like stormtroopers and stuff. Star Wars was my main fandom in my 20s. Like I go to Star Wars celebrations. Like I've been to Star Wars celebration when it was still in Orlando, like in 2007, and then Star Wars was my whole thing. And then I just wanted to like try something new in the cosplay circuit. So I got my first Green Ranger costume here locally. And then I felt it wasn't a complete experience if I didn't do like a morphing video.
Yeah.
I like an iPhone type of iMovie quick edit. And then I uploaded it, and then I let it be for a couple of months. And then I came back to it, and then I was just surprised like how many people were viewing it and how many subscribers was trickling in, because I initially put up that YouTube channel for my in my 20s. I was my career was in music, so I was a recording artist here in the Philippines in my early 20s until like my I guess 2008, 2009. So that YouTube channel was for like music stuff. And I uploaded that video. Somehow it was a pretty good video.
Yeah.
And I did it again, and then it just so happened I continued doing it, but instead of just morphing, I put in stories into it, so that it wasn't just any other video out there where fans are creating their morph videos. I wanted to add something a bit unique, and then just short skits, and then it just and how many years later? That's that's how it went.
That's amazing. You probably don't remember, but when I first, got reintroduced to the Power Ranger fandom, you're a little bit a part of it because you had put me in one of your videos for Power Morphicon. I was an Alpha 5 cosplayer, and you added me in the video with, I think he was your little cousin or something, and I just watched the video, saw all the cosplayers, and I was just like, wow, this thing is still a thing. Like there's a whole fandom, and I love it. To this day I love it, and I think I can speak for both of us. It kind of I feel like it kind of put us in a different place beyond Power Rangers, and to do different things. Like I see you interviewing the MCU actors, and you get to all these special experiences. Would you say that it was because of Power Rangers?
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't have even thought of, being part of this other world, like that the press world. Never thought. Like, but the growth of my channel, luckily enough, was the thing that helped me. Help open doors for me here locally when it came to doing things like that, doing things for other franchises, for other fandoms. So yeah, it definitely helped for sure, because I guess in this world where views and numbers are one of the things that companies take in high regard.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
but since it's the case, I'm lucky enough that I have the views, and then they got interested, and then it just opened those very cool doors.
Yeah,
I would never have thought at all. Like my first one was for Civil War. So I got to interview Chris Evans, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, and Joe Russo, and man, it's like when I got the email, I was like, how am I sure that this is real? How is this real? I'm not just being punked. And then I had a meeting with Disney Philippines here, Marvel Philippines, so it was like it didn't sink in until they actually flew me, because the junket was in Singapore.
Okay.
So I didn't believe it until I landed in Singapore. So that was really great. To be really honest, I was like pinching myself the whole time.
Yeah.
And then right after that experience, that was something I really wanted to continue doing. And luckily enough, I get to be part of these junkets where the movies are the stuff that I really am passionate about, like Marvel, Disney, and all
that's awesome.
Netflix stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it's such a cool experience, and the Ranger community is so proud of you for being able to do all that. But going back to your original YouTube channel with the Power Ranger content and the fun videos, can you talk me through the process of how you decide on which videos to make? Because a lot of it will coincide with current stuff that's coming out. I think I remember the last one was when Morbius came out. What's the process of that, and what's the process of you finding like these cosplayers to play these roles to fit into your narrative for your story?
So it started out when I was doing skits early in my in the early years of my YouTube channel. It was purely like hardcore Power Rangers, like everything, all the skits revolved around Power Rangers. But just like everyone else, I love other things, and I wanted to somehow incorporate that into my videos. But I also learned through experience that when people subscribe to you, they subscribe to you for particular or a specific reason.
Mhm.
And for me, it's Power Rangers. So I tried doing a non Power Ranger video.
Mhm.
Didn't do well. So I learned from that if I wanted to share my love for these other fandoms, I had to make them cross over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I always have to have a Power Ranger element when I am interacting with Ant-Man or with Captain America or with uh, every other character that I've done in the last few years.
Mhm.
And I wanted to feel um it's somewhat of work for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to feel like I'm not just slacking around.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to feel, because obviously this is what I do full time. So I just don't want to be like I'll rely on my old videos
Complacent.
and
Yeah.
just just lie around. So every time there's a movie that comes out that I love,
Mhm.
and obviously in the past few years, like the Marvel universe, the DC, they're always coming out with stuff. So it's a lot of content for me to do. So when, let's say, Avengers comes out,
Mhm.
um or another movie, like I did one with Alita, with Bumblebee,
Yeah.
I try to really push the what my creativity can come up with, so that these characters can kind of live in the world where I live in, which
Yeah.
is Power Ranger stuff. So for the recent ones, yeah, Morbius was a recent one, and then I also did one that just came out recently with a Jedi versus a Ranger, because of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I
Yeah.
love so much. But for the majority of my skits in the past few years, have been with a single, like one or two specific cosplayers here, who his name is Prince de Guzman. He is such a talented cosplayer and prosthetic artist,
Okay.
because he was Morbius. He made the whole prosthetics. He was also Pennywise in my other skit. He was also uh, The Witcher. He was a lot of stuff in my,
Yeah.
and it feels like I found someone who gets me here in the local scene, because it would be so cool to, if I lived in Los Angeles, where there's just a lot of actors to contact, a lot
Yeah.
of cosplayers, um but eh, but here it's just little small circles, but strong connections with these small circles. So
Mhm.
I was very lucky to find a friend and a collaborator with, yeah, Prince.
Nice. Now here, like in the US, like we consume your content and fully love and embrace it, and it's not too unusual to see this type of stuff on YouTube. But how about in the Philippines? Like, what is the initial reception of some of the content that you have in the Philippines?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
But because the content is so it's very American, like
Uh-huh.
even how I speak in my videos. If I'm not speaking to you, if I'm speaking to someone here, my accent will just go to full on Pinoy,
Yeah, yeah.
Filipino. But since the videos, I made it a point to make these videos in English so that it can reach an international audience. So the majority of the people who watch are from the States.
Mhm.
And then just in the past 5 years, my Philippine viewership has grown a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm also happy with that. But yeah, majority, it's not. I may have like a million like subscribers, but it's not like I go out and people recognize me. It's like it's very normal. It's very normal here, which
Yeah.
which I actually really like. I appreciate that.
Nice. Now, did you have a lot of background within content creating, like directing and
Not at
writing
all.
scripts and stuff like that prior to your YouTube channel?
No, not at all, man.
Yeah.
Like what I said before, I was like a musician.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm 37 now, so I was a musician professionally, like when I was 21 years old to around 27.
Mhm.
Like I had a I had 3 albums with my band
Mhm.
under Universal Records. It was so music, man. I was the drummer. Like my mind was, I had, you know, doing video, doing it was not even in the stars when
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
in my 20s. And then when I did this, it just I learned as I go.
Nice.
And even until now, I still wanted to feel like it still has that little amateur. It hasn't reached, like, it hasn't past that level where it's like, whoa, that's like a legit film.
Yeah, yeah.
I still wanted to be below that, just so that it still has that essence of, it can make people who watch the videos tell themselves, oh, I can do this too,
Yeah.
because it's not like way up there. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
making
not,
it
like,
attainable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And because I do videos once a week, so it's like it doesn't have to be skits once a week, but I constantly try to work and do all these videos. And obviously, if I wanted to make it really, really, really good, I can't just release these videos once a week. It would
Yeah,
take a
yeah.
long time. But
Yeah.
I like the whole quick, snappy, comedic
Mhm.
type of content that I put out.
I like
So
it.
like, compared to what like DJ does with Bloodline or with Unworthy,
Mhm.
and with the other great productions, like I'm actually so happy that there's content like that,
Yeah.
because it's like super good. It's like amazingly done.
Yeah, yeah.
And since I know some of the guys also, it's like it's really great to see how the community has really took the like they took the time
Yeah.
to really make this awesome stuff. And I feel like I'm like very much happy in the place that I'm in. I'm not
That's nice.
I'm not delusional to think like I'm at their level.
Nice.
But it's I love watching their stuff. And there was like an issue before. You know how social media can make you
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
try to like make you fight
Put you against each
other.
other. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because they're saying, hey, why can't you be like them? Or the other like the other side of it, like why can't you be like Chris?
Yeah.
And we have our own paths, we have our own
Yeah.
roads. And
And if anything, it's better for the fandom because you get so much content from
Yeah.
in so much different content that
Exactly.
it really enhances it.
Yeah,
Now,
so I
speaking,
really,
yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
Speaking on that though, you've gotten to work with, being a Power Ranger fan, you've gotten to work with some of the legendary Power Rangers. Can you tell me about your first experience with it? And does it ever still feel kind of unreal that you get to work with your childhood heroes?
Oh yeah, it's still unreal. I feel so. It feels good knowing that I'm still working with these really good, great actors in the Power Rangers world.
Mhm.
My first one was actually, I think it's Christopher Kamenly.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and at that time, I just came home from Power Morphicon 2014.
Mhm.
I binged In Space and loved it so much. And then somehow he was also commenting on the videos that I put out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just messaged him, and then he replied, and then we did something really quick. Um, that's how I learned how to create or edit or direct someone who's not in the same country as me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we're talking to each other, but I'm editing it to seem like we're both in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I did it with the first few Rangers. So yeah, Christopher Kimenly was the first, and then Yoshi was next,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just happened beautifully.
Yeah, I
How
do
was
like
it?
how seamless they are, especially when they're in different countries.
Yeah.
Are you in charge of trying to pick the right location to kind of
Yeah.
match up with your spot?
I try to make the location somewhere where I can kind of connect it with my house, like
Yeah, yeah.
my backyard, my garden. So even when I'm in the States, I always make it a point to like link up with some people there.
Uh-huh.
So like when I shot skits with Allison McInnes, with Austin
Reggie
St.
Roll.
John,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's I always I never shoot just to make it quick, because I don't want it to be like a whole day shoot for
Yeah.
these guys. So how I make it quick is I just film all their sides.
Mhm.
Literally, I have my camera, I feed them the lines, I say, and then I do this with my hand, and I said, this is me. So
Mhm.
you look at this, you look at my hand. So
Yeah.
while I'm shooting them, they're looking to the right or to the left, and then they just say their lines. I make it a point to film them like in a park or something, just so that I can link it up with the parks here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're done in an hour. And then when I get home, I film my sides.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like we're talking to each other, but we're not.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. The most recent video you put out, it was where it is a collaboration with all the Rangers where they're punching each other?
That was like, I guess around two years ago during
Okay.
the pandemic. Just so that, because I saw this fight, like hashtag fight challenge, where a lot of what do you call this, stunt performers did that
Yeah, yeah.
challenge on TikTok, and I wanted to try to do that for the Power Rangers.
Mhm.
So I got cosplayers, and I also got the actors who I've worked with in the past, and then some new actors who I haven't worked with, who
Mhm.
were gracious enough to film themselves. So that was really fun.
That was really great. That was really great. Last question. So the Power Ranger, universe is, changing up. But yesterday they announced that there's a new showrunner going. I think everything's gonna be on Netflix. How do you feel about the future of Power Rangers as it's going right now?
I'm a sponge.
Yeah.
It's basically I don't know, it's just something with me. Like, I love everything that comes out. Like the 2017 movie,
Yeah, great movie.
that. And everything else that comes out, it's I don't make it's just for me personally. I don't make it a point to really take things so seriously.
Yeah.
When it comes to like, how is this canon, or why is the storyline like this? Why are there loopholes?
Mhm.
I just enjoy the feeling of experiencing these the content that Power Rangers put out.
Awesome.
I mean, whatever happens in the future, I have a strong feeling that no matter what, I'll be supporting it,
Mhm.
because it's a fandom that I enjoy. I
Yeah.
love. It has changed my life, and I know, because I've been writing scripts. I've been doing all these skits. I know how hard it is to
Yeah.
create something original. I mean, these people who will be doing this Netflix show, they're not gonna make, you know, something that will be exactly like Mighty Morphin, because what's the challenge there, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
these people are professionals. These people are so good at what they do. Why would they want to just do exactly the same thing as happened in the 90s? Obviously, they want to make it different, put their own spin on it, and I respect that for sure, because
Yeah.
I've been doing. I know how that's like to try to do something you love, try to put your own spin on it, try to be creative, try to be challenged,
Yeah.
and you can't just copy what happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of fans, it sometimes really surprised me how like people really just want the original.
Mm-hmm.
Like in like when it like example when it comes to the suits, they literally want the spandex and diamonds for the movie. But
It doesn't
if,
translate.
if you're gonna do it, if you are in charge of trying to reboot a franchise and try to make it different,
Mhm.
you're not gonna do that, right?
Yeah. It doesn't translate as well. It doesn't translate as well. Thank you, sir, so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to more and more of the content you're going to put out. Is there any special projects you wanted to promote, or anything that you got coming up in the future that you want everybody excited to see?
No, I'm always trying to do new stuff. So they'll just see it on my channel in the next few weeks.
Awesome.
So I still don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm always I like working on the fly. Like when something happens, when something that interests me, I like to work on it right away.
Yeah.
I try to plan ahead, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's nice to be a bit spontaneous.
Mhm.
So yeah, they'll check it out on my channel, Chris
Yeah.
Cantata Force, and hope they subscribe.
Yeah.
And if they check it out if they want some Power Rangers goodness.
Yeah, all the links will be in the description of this video. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, sir.
You too, man. Thank you.
All right.